I'm overall happy with the process.
I feel really good. I feel healthy. Just got to continue to just build that football shape. I think that's the biggest thing that I'm working on through this process each and every day. Just try to build that endurance, build that football shape, because it's been a while since I've really been on the field with 11 on 11.
Honestly, I just want to play football. Like, this stuff cool and all, but I'm just here to play football, honestly.
The Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima. This is Cleveland's Sports Radio, 92.3 The Fan.
Good morning.
Hey, welcome back, Kenny.
We'll get to the Browns here in just a second. I mean, you're not going to zig when everybody else zags, are you? Like, it is Bush League, right?
So I want to ask you about this.
You understand that's Bush League.
I have been hearing it's Bush League my entire life, and yet every month we get somebody who tries to do it.
If it were 1-0, fine. I'm serious. If it were 1-0, I'm serious. I don't think it's Bush League. If it's tied, absolutely. It's 5-0. It was 5-0. You're laying down a bunt to try to break up a no-hitter. It's 5-0. It's a 5-0 baseball game.
Is there
I don't know if is 2-0 okay. Seems to be within shooting distance, you would say. 3-0, you're getting close. 4 is where the limit is. If 4-0, you can only tie it on one swing. I still don't think you can do it. 5-0's out. That's ridiculous. Come on. That's trashy. I understand. Oh, my Guardians. I know it. To try to lay down a bunt, when Tim Tawa tries to lay down that bunt to start off the 6th inning, and Stephen Vogt comes out, and I think there was another reason Stephen Vogt did it, and we'll get to that in a second because I still think it was a good idea. But it's 5-0. Gavin Williams has a no-hitter going. Was it a perfect game or no-hitter at that time? There was a perfect game at that time. I want to make sure I'm right about this. He's got a perfect game going, and you try to lay down a bunt to start off the 6th. There's no other way to describe it. Now, I want you to be with me on this.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to turn you into a bad guy 5 minutes into my return after a week off.
I, as somebody who my love for baseball is nowhere near what it was when I was young.
I remember discussed it.
When I was young, I always was told, "Hey, unwritten rule, can't do it, can't do it, can't do it."
That was a long time ago when we were young.
That was my love for baseball when baseball was my number one, probably up until I was maybe 16 years old, 17 years old. So in the next, almost 30 years, I have seen baseball players try to violate the unwritten rule, which then leads me to wonder, hey, if baseball players don't think it's all that important, then at some point, don't I have to concede that it's okay? And then in this era, see, it was always an unwritten rule in basketball that you don't go try to get a basket at the end of a game, especially when it's a blowout. Yeah, but when the game is decided.
Yeah, well, now when you're in an underground gambling ring.
Well, that's also part of it. I wonder so much about stats and how much the daily fantasy and the gambling has that changed the tone? Because no matter what you and I say, if I agreed with you, if I simply said yes, it's Bush League, Ken, which I've been told it was my entire life. Why is it still happening?
So if you go to Wikipedia,
it's never stopped happening.
If you go to Wikipedia, it is the first unwritten rule that's up there. That's written on Wikipedia.
Till what time?
It's an unwritten rule, but it's written down here.
At what point?
It just says, do not bunt to break up a no-hitter.
You clearly could do it in the 2nd inning.
All right.
You clearly could do it in the 3rd inning. At what point does the inning matter?
It's the 6th. Once you're in the 6th.
Is this Ken Carman's written rule? Have you wrote it down?
No, this is me just shooting my mouth off rules here.
Okay.
All right.
So you just came up with moments ago it's the 6th inning.
All you baseball guys, come on. 216-474-0092 before we set sail with the Browns and never talk about anything else again. That is a great question. At what inning is it still available? If it's 5-0 after the first, I guess if you laid out a butt in the top of the 2nd, I guess it's not really.
Okay, so we've removed.
Bastard tried to break up a perfect game. I don't know.
Ken Carman, we got to find common ground here. So Ken has admitted 1st inning it's okay, 2nd inning it's okay.
You've been through the lineup a couple of times. It's a perfect game. So you're going into the 6th inning. Like, come on. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just pointing out. You're going. He was the 7th. I think he was batting 7th. So you're doing that again. I don't. maybe it's the 7th inning. Is that the rule? Because then you had gone through twice completely.
I am not trying to convince you.
I know you're not.
You're
trying to figure out the written part of the written rule and us finding a standard.
And then at some point we have to draft new language and just make it written.
Legislature.
Yes.
All right.
We are doing a lot of work coming up the minute this season ends with a new collective bargaining agreement. Let's just slide it in there. Much like an omnibus bill in Congress.
Here we go.
They slide it in there.
Yeah.
There's a reason they got those federal buildings down in West Virginia, because they slid it in there.
See, I thought you were going to, I was going to say 6:08 and 35 seconds. I thought you were going to mention something up there on that TV and you didn't do it. I
wish my wife would make me empanadas. My wife, our relationship seems great on its face. I can't get her. I can't get her to make empanadas.
I knew you were going to do it. 6:08 and 51 seconds for those scoring at home. All right. So we got to write down the rules right now. So let's hear Stephen Vogt, because I think there was another reason to it. All right. Here's Stephen Vogt on Tim Tawa trying to bunt with the perfect game going. Go ahead.
Everybody has different baseball opinions. And obviously, when things like that happen, some people are going to have opinions one way or the other. What I like to do is I can only control how we play. And that's not a knock on how anybody else goes about it. That's the facts. But obviously, when there's a perfect game going, some people are going to be very upset at that. Again, that wasn't the crux of my frustration.
All right. Now, here is... Ooh. All right, here's Stephen Vogt talking about the benches clearing. Go ahead.
I thought I needed to say something, and then Tori and I talked it out. I thought Tori and I handled it very well. It was a conversation for us to be had, and obviously when people come together, there's going to be tempers that flare and things that are said that probably shouldn't be said, and that's probably from both sides today.
You're standing out there in the rain.
Wait, so what else happened?
Pointing at each other. Rugi Odor was as upset as I've ever seen a man.
Oh, dude, they held him back. They had
to hold him back.
They had one dude holding his arm back. They had the other dude, flanking him by the shoulder, trying to restrain him. And that wasn't hey, hold me back, like when I was getting in fights in college. This was real. Like he was going to go knock somebody out. You could tell.
Does the pitcher's attitude towards it mean anything to you?
Oh, I think so.
All right, here's Gavin Williams now. Kayla, did you see it? You're gonna have to look down at the. Over at the chat for a second here, because this was just slid in here. Speaking of things sliding in, this was just slid in on us 30 seconds ago. Not even. So
a developing situation.
Yeah, we have a developing clip here of Gavin Williams afterwards,
who has been unbelievable.
Williams 01 is what that would be under. So we'll get Kayla to get it here in just a second, because they did an August surprise on Kayla with the audio over there. So we're going to get this here in just a moment. As I busk
I'm already seeing
to hear Gavin.
I'm already seeing the reaction coming in, man. I cannot wait.
Here's Gavin Williams on the incident. Go ahead.
I don't really have any reaction. It is what it is. I don't really care. My job is to get outs, and that's what I'm trying to do.
All right. If the pitcher doesn't make a big deal about it.
I think.
We just got to put everything. We got to put all the evidence in there. I think put all the evidence in there, Tom.
I think he was so annoyed because of the way that
Wouldn't you be annoyed too?
Yeah, of course. Oh,
because if he squares up to a bunt, if I'm pitching, I swear to God, okay, I pitched in Little League Baseball, right? And, the booze and
this is before you succumbed to your football injury.
Yes, of course. Yeah, so when you guys said I was tomahawk chopping on the way out, I told the boys that story. I go, let's not waste time. Let me tell you a story about wasted time, boys. So if I were in a perfect, I can't put that. It's Little League Baseball compared to Major League Baseball. I can only think as how I would think, okay? If you guys were pitching, everybody out there was on a pitcher's mound at some point. I'm sure Tony even pitched when he was in Little League Baseball. If you had a perfect game going.
My 42-mile-an-hour fastball.
If you had a perfect game going, and you're getting into your windup, and you look down there, and he's squaring up the bunt, what other thought do you have other than, you bastard? How do you think of anything different? Different? It's the 6th inning, for crying out loud. Now, pitch counts and everything being what they are, I mean, we can go over that all we want. But you have a perfect game going, and it would be the first thing that crosses my mind. Top of the 6th, it's a 5-0 game. He had to be thinking, you got to be kidding me.
And the look on Bailey's face, I'm watching it now. He squares up. It's an 0-1 count. He squares up. It goes foul. First, Rocchio. They get a camera on him, and he is in disbelief. Bailey, behind the home plate, is starting to jaw. So this is
Yes.
the beginning of the whole process.
Yes.
I love it. We're going to get a whole John Boy
crafty vets.
reenactment.
Yes, we are.
Oh,
yes,
amazing.
we are. That's going to go well.
Yeah, because it was 5 minutes. No, it was 10 minutes because the fact I'd never seen this before. The bench is clear.
They're trying to bring out the tarp.
And they're trying to bring out the tarp. So these simultaneous actions, if you were there in the stadium, you had to be going, I've never seen anything like this. And then to see the players, almost like it's a West Side Story.
That's the other reason.
Like doing a musical. They're all like, all right, let's move to the right. They kind of got to get the infield taken care of, which they didn't. And the infield was a total disaster.
See, this is where, before we take the calls, can I just say this? And I'm giving away what I can sell, but I'm going to do it right now.
This is amazing.
I thought it was a brilliant move by Stephen Vogt. They're trying to bring the tarps out. You're pissed. Your team is scuffling. Mm-hmm. Like, I went to that game on Friday night with some friends. It was 1-0 that whole time. I'm going, we're going to lose this game 2-1. Didn't realize it was going to be 4. But the whole time, so they're going, this is a great outing by Tanner Bybee, getting out of everything. A couple guys on here and there, but he's having a great outing. I go, we're going to lose this game 2-1. Sure as hell, we end up losing the game. And then, obviously, you see your team is scuffling, and you're trying to keep your head above water. You're trying to stay in the race for the Central. You have to go out there. You have they gave you a golden opportunity to rally the troops, and he took it. And that's what I was proud of. And he stood out there. Rain's coming down. They are trying to bring out the tarp.
They're so annoyed.
You know that grounds crew has to be incensed. Everybody's annoyed. Nope. Everybody in the world's going to see this. I'm bringing you out here. We're going to discuss this. So everybody, including the team, can see Rui Odor doing the hold me back, but really wanting to fight somebody. It was a brilliant move. Go get a piece of his ass right before they bring these tarps out here. I didn't think it wasn't like, oh, they'll drag us off and that's it. No. You had to get, because you never knew if you were going to get your chance. They could have thrown the tarp on there, and that was going to be it. It's a getaway day. The whole thing, you're playing a West Coast team, like that's it. And you went out there. It's the 6th inning. That could have been the game. And you go out there.
5 in the book.
And you let him have it. I thought it was brilliant I'm dead serious. I thought it was brilliant by Stephen Vogt. Get the guys going. Get them encouraged. Light that fire. It can't all just be Jose. You got to do it. I thought it was great.
The whole thing was quite a scene. And, it lived up to the billing of anytime you see a baseball game, something will happen that you've never seen before.
Yep.
That entire
unbelievable
fracas.
I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
So honestly, it was very cool.
Look at the phones here. Rudolph, I'm going to guess Valentino in the Falls. You're next up on the Fan. Hello.
Hello there. I think the Bush League effect starts in the 7th inning because that's your last cycle of at bats, particularly if it's a perfect game.
Uh-huh.
So you need to go down swinging and not bunting or trying to stick your elbow out and get hit by a pitch or something stupid like that. You need to go down swinging.
So it was. Well, wait a minute. So this was still the 6th. Are you saying it was okay to bunt or no?
Yeah, I was okay with the 6th inning. It wouldn't get to me until the 7th.
Okay,
I love that.
All right, hey, that's.
You gotta have a definitive line.
I asked people to put together their requirement. They put together their requirement. I'm not going to complain to them. Anthony in Cleveland. Anthony, you're next up on the Fan. Hello.
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning.
I think that it's me, the hitter, against the pitcher, and I think that any time is a good time to try to break up a no-hitter, a perfect game, because
anytime.
no team wants to be in the books or go down as being no-hit. That's my comment.
Anthony, thank you very much for the call. We have diametrically opposed opinions in so many ways.
Nobody wants to get no-hit. I understand that. But we all have to find some common footing on this. There has to be a moment where you can't do it.
I mean, is
you
it not?
You can't go in there in the 9th inning.
Is it not sportsmanship?
You can't go in there in the 9th inning and square up.
Just making sure.
There's just no way.
I thought so. I would figure that would be the case. We will bring this back later. You can guarantee yourself that. 216-474-0092. If they're going to be unwritten, we got to write them down at least for the show, and so we can remember it. Because I know I know we've been through this before somewhere in the last decade.
Oh yeah,
and I cannot, for the life of me, I was trying to remember and look through old show sheets that I still had to see if there was anything that we had on the record before, so I didn't talk myself into some sort of a trap.
Are there
because
any-
it's the Guardians this time. That's all.
I know we got to go. I talked about one thing about this before you answer. I talked about one in the NBA. You're not supposed to go in for a basket. At the end. And we've seen that violated, and then guys all get into a skirmish. There any in football?
I think chop blocks are kind of frowned upon. You know, that's one of those things where it's kind of like, hey, you know, we're all trying to make money here. We're trying to play within the parameters of things. I can think of that. Other than that, it's kind of out there. I mean, there's still such a thing as a hospital ball, like things like that. Yeah, you're right. All right, let me think. 216-474-0092. I mean, I'm not going to come back with that because the owner of your Cleveland Browns says, take the over, ladies and gentlemen, in 2026. Ken Carman, Tone Master General on the Fan.
Integrated Restoration, the right choice when it matters. Cleveland windstorms lift shingles, break seals, and cause hidden leaks. Don't wait for a ceiling stain. Call Integrated Restorations, your local experts in water, fire, and storm restoration. IntegratedRestoration.us.
All eyes are on the Guardians this summer. Can they repeat last year's special run? This is the place to talk about it. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
The dangerous one, Daryl Ryder, is going to join us on the show. Who's leading that QB race?
We got
it was amazing. So real quick, social media reactions on X, Kayla, are brought to you by
Scheiben Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store.
I want to get to your thing here in a second. Somebody complained to you online yesterday. Oh, great, Ken's back. We'll talk 4 hours of Browns. Okay, and then we lead off with the Guardians yesterday, and I'm getting complaints about leading off with the Guardians. Outstanding. Outstanding.
Just real quick.
Champions pose.
We're getting a smattering of reaction.
Yes.
Once
Go
again,
ahead.
brought to you by Scheiben Jewelers. Joe Smooth says, I think the easiest way to answer your question, what inning do you start actually talking about a pitcher throwing a no-hitter? Whatever that is, that's when you can't bunt for a hit. I mean, when do you take notice? Like yesterday was a time where I got some texts, and I already had it on, but I just don't even want to cause problems, and I know it could come back to haunt me on the radio, so I don't even mention it. I do with my wife because she does not care at all. Yeah. So I'll go, honey, guess what's happening? And then it'll be a big sarcastic thing.
Well, what do you want to do?
But it had reached that point yesterday. Now, the other thing I had to ask.
What do you guys want to do?
The other thing I had to ask, Kenny.
Yeah.
I was going to text him, and I didn't. I didn't want to make him angry.
Text him. Text who?
So, Underwood. So Underwood was not doing the game. He was not doing the game. It was Al Pawlowski. And so I wanted I wondered.
I'll admit I was listening.
I wondered if Matt was like, I'm not doing the game, and now they're going to get a no-hitter. I've done 10,000 games, and now I don't get the no-hitter. Like, I do wonder.
I would feel cheated.
Well, that did happen with the Yankees a couple of years ago. Domingo Germán threw a perfect game, and neither Michael Kay nor John Sterling were on the call.
Unbelievable.
That would be terrible. That would be terrible.
Great for Al, because Al's been there every day all those years, too. And that's a great moment for Al. And we are big proponents of Al Pawlowski in this studio.
Well, we are.
I mean, Kenny will never be Al Pawlowski.
No, in all honesty, I like all those guys. I've only met Rick Manning on a couple of occasions. He was always great. We've known Matt Underwood now for the last couple of years. You and I have known Andre for a very long period of time. And the same thing with Al Pawlowski. We like all those guys. We'd like them to be on. It was the same thing. Honestly, it was one of the little things that it's like, all right, Mike Breen did a great job, but what's the call everybody looks at? It's the video that Beth took of Fred McLeod doing the game. Over at the Q.
Amazing.
Like that's
at the watch party.
You have that personal connection to it, and so you want somebody to do it. So yeah, I could. I don't think that Matt's looking for sympathy or anything like that, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, I would. If I were Matt, I'd be a little bit irked, that it happened when I weren't doing it, considering he's done about like you said, about 10,000 Guardians games, it seems, over the last time.
And he's a huge fan. It's not like he's sitting there going, I hope they don't get the no-hitter. Because he knows all those guys.
You're right.
He's rooting for him.
You're right about that. No, that's true. All right, we'll get back to that coming up here in a little bit. Also, again, Daryl Ryder, 820, Lima Likes at 745, which we've heard better national anthems. That coming up at 745. So yesterday, or a couple days ago, I should say, the owner of the Cleveland Browns, Jimmy Haslam, was speaking to the media. Jimmy was asked a couple of questions. First thing Jimmy was asked about, if I can get my sheet out here and get it right, what are the expectations this year, sir?
Well, I don't know about high expectations. Let's say improved expectations, okay? We're always careful, as you know, to set the expectations, and I think we have made giant strides in our talent level the last 2 years, but it takes these young guys a lot of time, and I think we could have the chance to start double-digit first- and second-year players, and I don't care how good you are, it takes a little bit of time to improve, but we're really excited about the roster we've assembled.
So he's asked about the over or the under, and this is what got everybody hot and bothered. Here's Jimmy on whether or not you should take the over or the under this year.
think the odds are for us to win 5.5 games. I'll take the over.
So some people got in a snit over that. He's trying to be relatively optimistic while being relatively realistic about what the season is going to be, is he not?
Did you run to the window like I did, like in the movie The Sting, get your bet in?
I didn't gamble.
Oh, I threw everything on it. So that's it. I haven't told my wife yet. She's finding out about this for the very first time. But yeah, honey, we
got
big
plenty
Browns.
of listeners who could help you with that.
We are big Browns fans. We are big Browns fans. Starting in September against Jacksonville.
So I put him at 6. Did you put him at 5?
I said 4 or 5. Yeah.
You said 4 or 5? 4 or 5?
Once they traded Miles. Now, the Jared Verse stuff, I got to tell you, Coach Riz on Friday, he had me starting to rethink everything. You talked to him for, 4 hours. He had me pretty pumped up about what that defense could be even without Myles Garrett.
If they had the chance to bring in Jadeveon Clowney, I was going to say less.
Oh,
I'm
yes,
glad
no kidding,
that
Cat.
he chose the Houston Texans.
He
I
did.
know that all this it's very weird when I come back and there's like everything's a revelation because I don't like to tweet while I'm gone.
You weren't going to throw a party for Jadeveon Clowney?
No.
We weren't going to be doing...
No. My first reaction
Here we go
was...
again?
My first reaction was...
It would have been Here We Go Again with Jadeveon Clowney.
There was a near riot in a locker room after a game to which he had reportedly caused. They left him on the roster to sit there and stew and brew for the rest of that year. Anytime you can get a guy that makes everybody feel worse about coming to play for the Cleveland Browns, you got to bring that guy back. I couldn't believe what I was hearing last week.
Why were there so many Browns fans that put it all on Myles Garrett?
When I saw, because he ain't here no more. That's why. You want to know why? We'll take Jadeveon back. Well, he had 9 sacks last year. That was all Miles' fault last year.
People were saying the fact we had him in and showed interest and made an offer, and Andrew Berry at the press conference even reiterated that they were hoping, they were standing by the phone, hoping Jadeveon would sign and be a member of the Browns. They thought just by virtue of all that, it proved that Myles was the bad guy in the whole situation.
I really hope it was just niceties and not that, because they have, and I'll tell you what, I will explain something coming up here at 6:43, because I'm kind of going off the same reports as you guys here. I got smashed online for something a couple of months ago. We'll talk about this coming up. But I hope it was just niceties, because there were a lot of people who have been discussing, people who know the NFL, people who work in the NFL, people who still work in a formerly like GM capacity, now online. I'm not talking about Michael Lombardi. There's a totally different conversation to have there. But there are people who are looking at this going, man, they're operating with a lot more common sense over the last couple of years. Why is that? And I'm hoping that it was just, hey, he's free, he has an agent, so that agent obviously has other clients. So you're not going to just sit there and rip on one of his clients because you have these other guys. So if you're just going to go through the niceties of it, fine. I hope that's what the case was, because it just is nonsensical. It would have been totally classic Browns if they were to go, yeah, let's bring him back. Let's bring him back with all this stuff. Not a chance in hell I would want to deal with any of that. Not a chance in hell. I would feel so much worse about a season that I don't feel that great going into. Like, it's like, hey, let's see if we can find a quarterback. And if not, there's a plethora of quarterbacks. Now, it's only August, but there's a plethora of quarterbacks that are coming out in the draft next year. Let's see if we have a quarterback. Let's see year 2 of Carson Schlesinger. Let's see year 2 of Mason Graham. Let's see if Mike Hall can get it going. And like, there's so many let's see this, let's see that I can attach myself to and find interest. And if they would have brought Jadeveon Clowney, I'm like, why? It to me,
8.5 sacks last year.
To me, it would have smacked. I thought it was 9. Excuse me. I gave him too much credit. To me, it smacked of the old Paul DiBedesta, like lack of awareness of anything going on. You have no idea to read a room. And you agree with me. I think you thought I was going to try to find a way to rationalize this. There ain't a chance in hell.
Because Friday, I said I cannot believe that they would even entertain this. And people were like, but it was Myles. It was clearly Myles. They got rid of Myles. Now they want Clowney.
I'm relieved but disappointed that he's going to the Houston Texans, because if I say that before he signed, it means more. Now I can say whatever I want because he ain't here. But I'm telling you right now, one of the things that I've been like holding on to the seat wanting to say, and I'm going to save it for the show, is that I can't, no. If you're not, I mean, you hear the owner. The owner's saying take the over on 5.5. We're addressing 5.5. Take the over. Okay, what? Fine, 6. if we know, and he's being realistic about it, that, hey, we're trying to see who we got, see if these young guys can really play. You know, we got a couple of good moves here over the last week. You know, Denzel Ward signs an extension. He's as Cleveland as it gets. You got Grant Delpit, who's been taken care of now. That's a nice relief because, as you know, I find him to be a wonderful player who I would pay money to go see. There's some good vibes that are going here. And to invite that cancer back to your locker room would be not just one step forward and two steps back. Like, you are doing a running leap into a pond of back if you were to invite that back into your locker room. With the way that ended, with the way everything went, no. This needs to be a year where everybody, they're grown men, they have jobs. I understand not everything's going to be great. Not everything's going to be kumbaya. But, man, you got to do what you can to make sure that the locker room can get together in some fashion. Like, hey, what Jimmy said about the owner, or about the over, whatever. I think he's trying to be somewhat realistic about everything. But when it came to the Jadeveon Clowney stuff, like, please don't do this. Please don't do this. Please don't make me have to go on in August and rip this move and think how silly this is to bring back a guy who we know was bad for our locker room and bad for our culture, and we're entertaining bringing him back. Please. No. It was a great first year. It was a disastrous second year. And I'll give credit where it's due. When they signed him, what did Zach say? The beginnings are always great. Yeah. The endings are horrific. And it was absolutely horrific. To find out that we went from October to December with that going on after that Ravens game for another, 2 months? 2 months? And let that all permeate was absolutely ridiculous that year.
And also, the fact that he had 2 different stretches of 4 teams in 4 years.
Exactly.
We've never heard of something like that.
That's what I'm saying.
And the thing is, he is productive. He's always productive. But that's the stuff you see on the field that has nothing to do, doesn't take inventory of the stuff going on in the locker room. And we found that out firsthand.
If this was a team that had AFC championship aspirations, because if you do, you already have leaders in that locker room you trust. If they had AFC championship game aspirations like the Texans do, I would be more open-minded to it. I don't need to have these young guys in and having this epiphany with this goofball in this locker room sitting there going, this is what everybody warned me about. Now I'm getting the full Browns experience. That's the last thing we need. I need, now that we've moved on and made the trade with one guy who refused to take leadership. Not a bad guy. Not talking trash about him out the door. I'm saying the same stuff I said the 9 years he was here. All right? When we've moved on from one guy who refused to take leadership, it becomes so much more important to get where you're going to go. It's still the ultimate team game. That would have been something that was ridiculous to me. I'm glad to get that off my chest. Coming up at 8:20, the dangerous one, Darryl Ryder. Coming up in 5 minutes. Before we get going, I'm going off the same reports you guys are, which I'm sure will get me attacked. I'll explain it in 5 on the Fan.
Anthony Lima for QC Connects right here in Northeast Ohio. So many individuals have been seeing real relief. We're talking about regenerative medicine done the right way, all backed by science and with real medical professionals. It is exactly what they live by right there in Northeast Ohio. All the great convenient locations. And I've been to the one in Westlake, but also Beechwood and Independence. Give them a call right now and avoid surgery altogether. 216-770-5488. We're talking about regenerative medicine.
you're looking over 30 kids, and I'm just terrified of like losing one of them. So I'm like freaking out the whole time. I'm not a school teacher. I don't. Any of the teachers that have been like chaperones on school trips, I salute you because I was terrified. This was 3 hours.
That you're responsible for the lives of all these young men.
Making sure that they are there, making sure that they are taken care of and not lost in front of a sea of humanity. It was extremely nerve-wracking.
Now, had they have gone last year, maybe they would have been able to play receiver for Shedeur Sanders.
Okay, that's enough.
They could have caught some of the balls.
Okay, you could have been. You dare to dream. You dare to dream. That's all that could be said about that. Maybe they can do that. Maybe they could have had a chance at Taylor Green.
Yeah.
I don't know. Throws the ball pretty hard. Probably would have hurt some of their hands. I need all them kids this year. So, By the way, there were 5 other coaches there that were taking care of him, and they did a tremendous job. And all the kids were very well behaved. I loved them. But I was terrified the whole time. And so the only time I really got eyes on anything going on of any substance whatsoever was at the very end. And the only reason I really did is because they do a great job with the kids in the autograph line afterwards, and they lined up, and I go, if any of you kids step out of line with this group of people, you will deal with me on Monday. And then they all went, and I was so nervous. I was like, you know what? Nope, I'm going to step over the ropes, and away I go. I'm going to make sure of it.
Who did they want to see the most?
Oh, Shedeur.
It was Shedeur, right?
Yes.
Doesn't it seem like that continues to be
the usual suspects? Shedeur, number 1, with a bullet. Denzel came out to a hero's welcome with the kids. Took selfies with the kids as he came out. I mean, they love it. Dylan Gabriel dropped his stuff, went through because they do like a handshake line. When you run out, you shake everybody's hand or slap hands, slap fives with everybody, like you get announced like in the Super Bowl. They do that over for training camp. And we're not just the only one. They got a whole bunch of them throughout training camp that are coming. It was just our day was on Saturday. Dylan Gabriel dropped his stuff, credit where it's due, came back, shook hands with all the kids, took selfies with all the kids. All the players were great. I mean, they're kids. It's fish in a barrel. They were all wonderful. Everybody was great. Shedeur, before he put on his pads and everything, went out and did it. It was great. One of the first ones out there, obviously. And they were all so excited to see him because it's Shedeur. And kids love Shedeur Sanders no matter what.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No comment on any of the other quarterbacks or that. It was just Dylan and him. Those are the ones I noticed, and then we all went on our way, right? So when I said what I said during mini camp, again, you have to understand I'm saying right now reports. If I see what I see, I'll tell you what I see this week when I go there. Because there was a bleep storm that got raised a month ago during mini camp. I can only go by the reports. And so if I'm only going by the reports that all the quarterbacks are struggling to some level, it's not Dylan Gabriel as much apparently.
Right.
But if all the quarterbacks are struggling, I'm just letting everybody know I can only go by the reports. Like Zach has been there every day. Zach has been watching them like hawks every day. When Zach says this on his podcast, it doesn't make me feel a lot better.
Shedeur switched to number 2. And then when Jared Verse came, Dylan's 6. So you hear a lot of talk about 2, 4, and 6, 2, 4, and 6. There's 4, there's 2, 2, 4, 6. It just reminds me 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? Joe Flacco. Yeah, Joe Flacco. They've built a room that might not have a single NFL quarterback. And it's too early to say that with any certainty. And I promise you that Shedeur is showing signs of confidence and growth. It's not consistently there. The arm strength is really not even close to good enough. He needs time and he deserves time and he has to play to get better. That's the only way you're going to find out. That's the only way he's going to clean up some things. It's the only way you're going to find out if he vibes with the players around him and he can move the ball at all. He has to play.
So
it's rough.
If everybody, and that's audio courtesy of Zach Jackson and friends. If everybody's struggling, then where I think the tie should go.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement.
But I don't think that's probably where Todd Monken's going to be.
Oof.
I think he's going to think, we got to win football games. I don't give a damn what Ken and Anthony think. Like, we want to see what Shedeur has before we're ready to close that book and move on over to the other one. And I like Shedeur. You haven't always been the biggest fan, but we're still lockstep on that. Like, hey, we're still curious.
Yes.
You're agreeing with me on that? Okay. But I don't think that Todd Monken's going to feel that way.
How in the world could the tie go to a guy that quite literally looks like he can't play the position? And
Are you talking about
to Deshaun Watson?
Okay.
I don't understand. Last time we saw him playing football for the Browns, he couldn't play the position. throwing to the wrong team consistently, the ground balls, the dirt balls.
I totally agree.
We talk about both guys have a proclivity to kind of running themselves into sacks, but come on. Like, what could he have possibly gotten better at?
I don't know.
And I had said this previously, and I was the number one guy waving the foam finger to try to bring this guy into town. And so I am more guilty than anybody else of being wrong on Deshaun Watson. And you would think if anybody would want to still try to find something out of this deal that has put the Browns in this awful, awful spot over the years since they have brought him in. If there was ever somebody that wanted to be proven right somehow, that ship has sailed so long ago for me.
Regardless of any of that, I think you're right, but you and I look at it big picture. And I think Todd Monken's going to go, I have one chance to get this right. I have one chance to do it. And as of right now, again, I can only go by reports. He's just got to be completely inept, because I think the tie's going to, if you're a head coach, I think the tie's going to go to the veteran. And the veteran on this team is Deshaun Watson. Whether I want to like that or not, I don't like that. I want to play Shedeur Sanders. I want him to earn that job, but earn is in the name. So these 3 playoff or preseason games end up being important because I get a chance to see more. They're talking about the preseason mattering there for them, and I know we've had several jokes about that over the years, for crying out loud. But I think with Todd Monken, he's a veteran coach, even though he's a first-time head coach, a veteran coach is going to go with a veteran. And it's hard for me, considering what I'm reading, to think, yes, I would want Shedeur Sanders to play. But also to understand that if I were tasked with trying to win football games, I'm not, but if I were, it'd be hard for me to move off from the veteran. Because your veteran is supposed to know more about the offense than the other two guys, really combined. Now, I know Dylan Gabriel's supposed to know more, and obviously I'm throwing that name in there. We'll talk more about that at 7 o'clock. But when it comes to those guys, it's going to be hard for me. He's going to have to be so overwhelmingly bad to the point where, like, he really doesn't have it anymore. Like, the preseason to me matters, because that's when everybody's going to see it.
Yeah.
And then we can actually have these arguments of going, hey, we're not just doing these silly completion percentages in camp. We're not just going off of hearsay with reporters. We're not just going off of hearsay with the thousands of fans that get into there every day and get to see it. We're going off of what everybody can see in a game scenario, even though it's not the biggest game scenario, in the game scenario, and we're actually seeing it. And I don't want him to play poorly, but if we're going to go in the different direction and actually get a good sample size of Shedeur, you almost need him to. You almost need him to do that. And because I think that our opinion and Todd Monken's opinions are going to be really, really, really different.
They play the Bears 12 days from now, right, in Chicago?
Yeah. Yes.
And the Bears are not going to be playing their starters, and we have to play our starters. So, my God, if he doesn't play well in that scenario,
you got to think. It's tough because it puts you in a position where you want to see what's best for the organization. And so what makes it tough for you is you almost have to root against somebody to see whether you get the best of the organization. And I know that's not a new concept to a lot of people, but it doesn't mean people like doing it. They don't. Coming up at 8:20, the dangerous one, Daryl Ryder. 7:45, Lima likes. And I don't know who's going to dislike my answer more. You, and I mean all you guys listening, or me, Ken Carman, Anthony Lima. That at 7:01 on the Fan.
XTEND.
Jersey. Head coach Todd Monken live right here on 92.3 The Fan. Free agent defensive end Jadeveon Clowney not going to return to the Browns. Instead, makes his return to the Houston Texans. Reports say Clowney gets a one-year deal worth up to $8 million. Get all the latest Browns content filtered right to your phone during training camp by following the Browns playlist and 92.3 The Fan on the Odyssey app. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
The Afternoon Drive.
I've never been criticized at the level Shador has. So I can't necessarily say that's good or bad. I'll never be in that position. I'll never be that famous.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. You'll never be that famous. I don't know that anyone in the talk radio space
I'd love to see you fly one day, friend.
I don't know that anyone in the talk space can be that level of famous.
Look into it.
What comment did you make? Am I taking crazy bills here?
What
comment did you make?
Bills.
You said, I will never be as famous as Shador Sanders. I say, I agree for 300, Alex. And you go, what? How insulting.
Yes.
Band of Brothers.
Yes.
Watch it sometime.
Yes.
What world am I living in?
100%. You should say, no, don't say that, Nick.
No, I agree.
Your star is going to shine.
Your assessment was right.
The Afternoon Drive. Weekdays starting at 2. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Did you ever hear this is going to hurt me way more than it hurts you? This is going to hurt me way more than it hurts you. Fine, open it up. Make it a 3-man competition if you want to do it.
No, come on. Stop it.
If no one's going to seize the job, hear me out. This isn't
out of here, Ken
Just
Carman.
hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out.
Maybe Ken's still shaking off the rust.
Hear me out.
From not being in last week.
Stop it. Now I'm as hot as I'm holding back everything and trying to figure out when exactly I want to say it. I know you want to hear me about LeBron at some point. Nonplussed was the first action I had. I remember exactly where I was, and I'll tell you guys that here in a little bit. However, if I'm only going by reports. If none of them are going to take the job, then we have to consider all of them. That's all I'm trying to say. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm trying to put myself, you don't even want to hear me say this. What the hell is the point? If none of them are going to seize that opportunity, then I have to make it a possibility for all of them. For at least the first 3. Taylor Green is not a serious conversation. No offense to Taylor Green. I mean, I'd like to see him and what you could do with that guy. But as far as starting quarterbacks are concerned, it's a 2-guy race. And I thought it should be a 2-guy race. But I'm only going by the same reports that everybody else is, that he's having a good camp. We'll hear more from Daryl coming up at 8:20 this morning. I knew this wasn't going to be a very comfortable thing to say. That's why I'm sitting here playing with my highlighters right now, because I knew that this was going to be an awkward conversation. Like when some people, they start messing with the desk when they're having awkward conversations, like rubbing down the desk because they don't know what to say next. They know that this is going to be awkward. That's how I'm feeling right now when it comes to Dylan Gabriel. Guys, I'm not trying to do shockmaster type of conversation here just to get through a day. We are at camp. We got Brown stuff going on. We got the Guardians where people are trying to wreck no-hitters and perfect games, and the Dodgers are trying to take over the sport. There is a lot going on right now. This is not me trying to just get through a day. This is me telling you the absolute truth. If we're not going to be that great of a team, if we're going to be a 6-win football team, if that's what it looks like, there are people out there who think they're going to be a 10 and 11-win team. God bless you. But if we're being honest and being realistic here and saying, hey, let's figure out what we got, 6, 7, then fine. Let's figure out what we have. You are loving this because you know that there's going to be a video made and I'm just going to get killed for the rest of the afternoon. So it doesn't matter for you. So you're just going to let me sit here and hang myself with these words, and you're not going to say a damn word about it, are you? Let me say this as clearly as possible. It's not what I want. It's what I may be forced to do. I want Shador Sanders to just take the job and let's see what he can do. I don't think it's going to be exactly what I want. So now I got to figure out what I have to do. And what I have to do is if one guy is doing really, really well, then I guess I have to open it up when it's an open competition, do I not? Well, he's throwing to third-teamers. Did we or did we not say the same thing about you-know-who last year when he was throwing to third-teamers? Huh? Oh, I'm not hearing anything over there. Did we or did we not say the same things last year when you-know-who was throwing to third-teamers, Anthony?
I thought
I want an
did.
answer.
Yeah,
Thank you.
We
Thank
did.
you.
Everybody did. Last year was a mess. We don't want to make this year a mess.
It doesn't make me happy to say this.
Yeah, this is the thing. We had been unfair to Dylan Gabriel.
Yes.
And I think
patently.
I think it was clear. I think early last week you were out and I had mentioned that I thought as much as the Shedeur fans have done the victimization thing, I'm like, man, if Dylan Gabriel had a fan base, other than didn't we have one family member that had been listening to the show and told us we were being unfair about Dylan Gabriel?
There was some guy who just would line up and cuss us out, and I don't remember that. But I remember that, but I don't remember anything else.
I thought Dylan Gabriel had the most claim to that than anybody else because, he was never really given a shot to truly start. Like it was when they did the Kenny Pickett thing, and then all right, we're really battling for, two different competitions were kind of emerging in camp last year. And then he loses his job, and rightfully so. He was going to lose his job anyway. But he lost his job because of the concussion. Then he comes back in just to run one play when Shedeur was out, and then he got booed by the fans. I'm like, man, I can't remember the last time a rookie, caught this kind of flack.
I'm sure we could find somebody.
This. It was not cool. And that was it. That was going to be it for Dylan Gabriel. We had all washed our hands. I'm like, it wasn't really fair, but, life's not fair. Football's not fair. Plenty of quarterbacks don't get fair treatment when it comes to a city. But I'm like, I don't feel great about it. I just don't really want to see him anymore.
I don't either.
But now apparently he's been the most accurate quarterback in camp.
I don't either, but damn it, I got it. I'm not. You guys are going to hammer me for trying to have an open mind about what Zach calls the most mediocre quarterback room in the NFL. Did he or did he not say that?
Yes.
Did I make that up? You want to play Zach's comments again on his podcast? Go right on ahead. Like I know I'm about to get just smoked on the phones and everywhere, and I'm not doing it for effect. I don't say things just to upset people. I can only go by what I'm reading. I've only seen 3 passes by the same QB, and that was on Saturday afternoon. That was it. I saw 3 of them. 3, that many by Deshaun Watson. None of them are horrific by any means. By what I saw, they weren't horrific, but I can only go by what I'm reading. And what I'm reading is that nobody has seized the job. It's not very good. Okay, well, if nobody has seized the job and it's not very good, and one guy seems to be having a pretty good camp, wouldn't it stand to reason that you go, well, I can't be closed-minded on anything. We're trying to win football games. If I'm Todd Monken, what do I have to be open-minded, do I not?
Are you really going to cut into the reps for
I don't think
Shedeur?
so. No, I don't think so.
So you're just saying take him away
I
from
don't think I would.
Deshaun Watson.
But if I'm going to do it, probably yeah. Probably yes.
But yet you started out, and this shows how tough this is. You started out by saying, yeah, he's probably going to pick Watson if it's close.
I do think so. But if I'm just reading that one guy is having a better camp and the other 2 are struggling, and that's what I'm reading, not what I'm seeing, if that's what I'm reading, then I have to be open. I have to open this up and say, who can lead this football team? Who do they have? Who does the rest of the players have confidence in? Who do the rest of the players have confidence in that they're going to move the football? Yes, I saw the Jerry Jeudy video last week, so we don't have to get into that, which is... You think Mark Schlereth wakes up every morning with a great big fat smile on his face?
On that one, yes.
Okay, just want to make sure that everybody's right with that. So, that's kind of where I'm at on this. I'm not trying to be controversial. I'm just trying to have an open mind. And it doesn't make me feel any better to add another wrinkle and make it a 3-headed quarterback race by any means necessary. And I still think of anybody who has a chance to be traded, it's still Dylan Gabriel who has the best chance to be traded by the end of training camp. I really do. But if I'm just reading what I'm reading, and I am, I think I can't be closed-minded about this. I have to be open-minded and go, where am I going to find talent to put on the most important position on the field to try to find some wins? Because you could start Dylan Gabriel and screw this whole thing up. And you could start any one of them. And I think that Dylan Gabriel might screw things up the most if you started him at the beginning of the year. But that's on preconceived notions. That's me dealing with everything I've said in the past, going, what are we doing? Why did we take him in the 3rd round? This is a non-fit. If I were him, I wouldn't want to be here. I know the fans didn't want him here. It's just not adding up. But if he's still here and he's playing as well as what I'm reading he's playing, and nobody else is seizing the job, we're only a few days into this damn thing, then why on earth wouldn't I make that consideration, Anthony? What, just so I don't want to upset the listeners?
Well, it's just we had been...
I'm supposed to tell the truth, am I not?
Let's be fair. Both of us, and I think most people in town, have been very unfair and not open-minded on Dylan Gabriel.
Without a doubt. Guilty as charged.
Is it just that, just because, not necessarily anything he's done, it's just the other guys have not really... And by the way, everybody agrees that have been there that Shedor's been better than Deshaun.
Honestly,
right?
I've kind of been, by just what I saw on the football field in games, it has been because of what he's done.
Okay.
Because supercomputer wasn't really there. Good, strong enough arm. Like I know that some of that stuff has been embellished, and there's a couple like online things, but has a good enough, strong enough arm. Was able to throw a decent enough deep ball at Oregon, and then they just kind of float into the abyss like a kid's hot air, like a kid's balloon that just gets off his hand and just goes into the sky. Like there's some of those passes that still have not come down yet. They're in orbit somewhere. And I go off of that last year. And there were some really tough things said. And I didn't like that people booed him. But what are you going to do? And now we're hearing this year, it's a new coach. And that guy's supposed to be open-minded. And again, if the other guys aren't going to do it, then I guess I'm going to get attacked for just trying to have an open mind.
Well, it is crazy. I mean, we've seen strange things happen in the past. I go back to, 2007. Charlie Fry beats out Derek Anderson in their quarterback competition.
And then what happened
gets
right after?
Benched at halftime in the opener and gets traded to the Seahawks. So, we've had some strange
had some weird stuff.
Twists very early in seasons. And who knows? Like right now, I remember it was a report last week. Was it Adam Schefter? One of them was like, the quarterback room in Cleveland may change. It's like, yeah, it's probably going to change. It probably is going to change. By October. Like, who knows what it's going to look like?
216-474-0092. Should Dylan Gabriel get consideration to start?
Welcome back from vacation, Kenny.
When have I ever said anything to upset everybody? I want to know. In 15 years on the Fan, when have I said anything just to upset people?
No, that's not your. That's my card.
That is not what I'm going to
yours.
do. I have never been tongue in cheek trying to upset. I've said things to try to upset Steeler fans that are listening, and maybe some other fan bases that might be passing through over the years, like Warriors and such. When have I ever said anything on purpose just to get a crowd around me in front of Browns fans, Guardians fans, Cavs fans? It's never, ever, ever happened. I'm being honest with everybody. I'm not saying it just to get through the day. If none of them are going to take the job and one guy's going to play better, then I have to be open-minded to him, do I not? 216-474-0092. Should Dylan Gabriel get consideration with the other two quarterbacks for the starting job? Or do you think I'm stoned? Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, Daryl Ryder, 820 on the Fan.
It's Anthony Lima for Mentality Health, and here's what they've learned. By treating 25,000 men, you can't just rely on testosterone alone these days. To run at full capacity, your body needs peptide therapy on top of testosterone. And for guys whose recovery still lags and whose energy have plateaued, even on testosterone, Mentality's physicians have designed a plan that layers peptide therapy on top of testosterone to make sure to support recovery, repair, and performance. We're talking about optimization, and more athletes are using peptides. You can too. Start today, lowtusa.com.
Shop the Meijer 7 for 7 sale and make your next shopping trip a good deal better. Through August 4th, pay just $1 each when you mix or match any 7 or more items. Summer fresh favorites like 1-pound California strawberries, seedless mini cucumbers, and select varieties of Oikos Light and Fit or Chobani yogurt, Kraft mac and cheese, Powerade, or sparkling iced beverages. Getting more for your money with the Meijer 7 for 7 sale through August 4th. That's good life quality and real low prices. Only at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See the Meijer app for details.
And Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen.
the Texans. Houston made Clowney the top overall pick in the 2014 NFL Draft. He played his first 5 seasons with the Texans. Can now find 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Get the best content from our shows each and every weekday. That's 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Deshaun Watson, Shador Sanders. The Browns QB battle is back. We're your home for training camp and preseason coverage. The radio home of the Cleveland Browns. 92.3 The Fan.
Oh, they're getting in. I didn't mean to do it. I didn't want to upset anybody. As God is my witness.
It's just, we as a show have not even talked Dylan Gabriel.
I wasn't with you last week.
No, I'm not just saying this week. I'm saying...
Oh, God. I wouldn't have talked Dylan Gabriel last week.
We've had all offseason. We have not talked about him. We thought he was getting traded. We thought he was just going to rejoin with Kevin Stefanski, and he's getting the whole gang back together
I didn't
again,
know
apparently.
if he'd rejoin with Kevin Stefanski. I just figured he'd be out of here, and that'd be the end of it. I can only go by what I read, guys. I'm sorry. And if I'm seeing that the other two are not having a great camp, I'm only going by the reports. And the other one is having a better camp. And yes, I know he's throwing to third-teamers. And I know they haven't even put on pads. Like real pads, like running into each other and all that stuff. I know things got a little bit hot and contested back on Saturday. Like, my buddy Brad Ward of Browns Film Breakdown is texting my ass off right now. He is, I wouldn't say he's incensed, but he can't believe. I go, guys, I can't believe it either. I'm not doing it just to upset everybody. I'm telling you guys the truth of the matter is that I just want to have an open mind towards everybody if we're going to consider of what the quarterback room is. Like, I don't think that Dylan Gabriel, they came out and they said when they took him, he's going to be a backup quarterback in the league.
It was so bizarre.
He took a career backup in the 3rd round.
Top 100.
When you don't have a real starting quarterback at that juncture in the draft. But whatever. It ain't my draft.
Interesting orders of operation.
That's my whole thing of it. And now we're going into a year where it seems the old guy is still just his best football is way back there somewhere in the past. And the other guy, hey, there's strides here and there. It's fits and starts. But again, I'm only going by what I read. And the other guy seems to be doing decent. Okay, why am I closing the book on that then? So I just build a wall in front of Dylan Gabriel? Is that it? I just take the other two and build a wall? I understand 3's a crowd, and it can muddy the water up a bunch. You brought up the Derek Anderson, Charlie Fry thing, and that ended up being a good year. It ended with almost by luck. They pulled that out of the you-know-where. Mm-hmm. But I just have to keep an open mind to this. So there's going to be a lot of hemming and hawing. And I would like somebody over the next week and going into that Bears game to kind of take the reins of this thing and do it. Like, yes, Dylan Gabriel would still be, if I'm opening up the books of consideration, he would still be 3rd on that list and probably by a few steps 3rd. But I don't think we're in any position to just sit there and slam the door on anybody we have, with the exception of Taylor Green because he's a 6th-round rookie, for crying out loud.
And look, the one thing you can say, we'll get to the phones here, I know people want to get in, is that Dylan Gabriel, like, we do understand last year was not a fertile area for any of the QBs to grow. Mm-hmm. Understand that. All the stuff we've said about Shador, it also is the same for Dylan Gabriel. Dylan had a little more opportunity in camp, but still, as far as like a situation for a rookie to come into, horrific.
And I have been steadfast. I'd like Shador to start the season. I want to see what he has before we move on to the 2027 class. C.J. Carr and Lenoris Sellers and Arch Manning and Julian Sayin and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But I don't want to be closed-minded. I want what I want, but I might have to accept what I'm going to get. And those are big differences, guys. Big differences. And I know there's a lot of people who go, Kenny, you should be out there beating the drum for your guy every day. Not if I am not honest. I'm going to be honest. based on what I've read, not on what I've seen. I've seen 3 passes by the same guy, 3, that many, by the same guy. There will be more to see this week for me. I got to go on what I've read, and what I read means maybe we should open up the book. Doesn't mean he's a starter. I didn't say he should start week 1 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. No. I said there should be some consideration then. We are in no position to be picking and choosing now, are we? 216-474-0092. Let me get the DJ in Northfield. Hello.
Good morning. Top of the morning, fellas.
Morning
How y'all
to
doing?
you. No, we're doing okay, DJ. Go right on ahead. Let me have it. Come on.
No, you're not going to get an argument from me. I think you're 1,000% right. The only thing I think is crazy is that it's this big of a shock to anybody that Dylan should get a chance. Everything that Lima just said is correct. The same things that everybody cry about for Shedeur, and we understand he has a special fan base. But everything that they cry about with him, Dylan had the same thing. It was the same. It was a mess last year, and everybody knows that. And I've been reading and seeing the same thing. I even went to a practice. I agree. Like, Dylan has looked – now, again, granted, take it with a grain of salt, third team, but we don't have a quarterback. So it being this absurd and people attacking you, because you are going to get attacked throughout the course of the day for this, but people attacking you for this is insane to me, because we don't have a quarterback. Put the best player out there who you think could be the best, and if that's Dylan, who I think they all bad. I hate to be a Debbie Downer, but I really do. But I hope somebody surprises us. I think Dylan can surprise us too. Who knows? I don't know. Tua had success at one point, so I don't know.
They have no rookie that they think that. Well, DJ, I agree with you. So let me say this, and thank you for the call. They have no rookie that they have anointed that anybody else believes is like that's their guy. Like if they were to take in a guy at number 6 overall, it's like, well, that guy's going to end up starting here this year, come hell or high water. It's going to happen. It didn't happen. You got 2 guys who are veterans. You have 3 guys that are veterans right now. Going into year 2, 2 of them. One's been a veteran for a decade now, and you've won 8 games over the last 2 years. You've won 8 games over the last 2 years. That means I need to be open-minded. I can't just consider close. What if he goes out and he does well this week? He can go out there and suck up the room this week in pads, and actual guys buzzing the tower. I know they're not allowed to hit him, but he can go out there and suck up the room in pads, and he can go out there against Chicago, and he could do terribly, and then we never have to talk about him again. And I could go, hey, yeah, well, that's why you see it's week 1 of training camp, and that's why he was throwing well in just T-shirts and shorts. We reserve the right to do that. But I also should keep an open mind and go into the season going, well, if the other 2 aren't playing that well to start things off, and the other one's looking pretty good, why am I going to shut myself off to any possibility to help myself win football games if I'm Todd Monken? That's all I'm trying to do here. Let's go back to the phones. Greg in Dallas. You're next up on the Fan. Hello.
Hey, what's up, Ken?
Hi, Greg.
I almost can't believe my ears, brother.
I can't believe the words that are coming out of my mouth, but I have to. I'm telling you. Greg, how long have you listened to me?
Brother, I've been listening to you guys for about a little over a year now.
Okay.
I'm not necessarily a Shedorian, but I came in with the Shedor crowd.
And I appreciate your ears. I really do. But I'm telling you, on my mother's ashes in my office, I have never once said anything just to upset people. It's never happened. So I know I'm upsetting a lot of people. I'm seeing my mentions right now. I'm not trying to upset anybody. I'm just trying to tell the truth of how I see it. Whether that might be misguided. There I am. Go ahead, Greg.
I don't necessarily think you're trying to upset people. I've never heard you do that, not once. That's more of a Lima type of deal.
Yeah, that's me. That's my job.
All day long, right? But at the same time, I don't know if those folks are upset. We're just genuinely shocked at hearing what we're hearing from you, Ken.
I know.
But if I could touch the subject, though, I can't even say this is apples to oranges. It's more so apples to grapes. You got a guy who's practicing against the third team, guys who may not even make the roster, versus guys who are practicing against the number 6 defense in the NFL.
But wasn't that the same? Wasn't that the same thing that the anti-Shedeur people said last year? Wasn't that the exact same thing that I had thrown in my face last year, Greg?
Yeah. But then again, like there's some context missing in it though. And I say that because I get what you're saying, but at the same time, Dylan Gabriel was given an opportunity last year, at least to practice with the team, whereas Shedeur's throwing the ball boys. Mm-hmm. And not to mention, he started 6 games in the NFL as well, right? So it's slightly different. We all know, and even the conversations surrounding Dylan Gabriel, is that at best he can be a backup in this league based on his performance, not a starter, right? And let's face it, the third team isn't going to be out there on Sundays during the season.
Nope.
So,
of course, sometimes our first team has looked like a third team before.
I just want to ask, I've said the same thing, and we've all said the same thing. Why do we say it? Why do we say Dylan Gabriel could only be a backup?
Because we've been hearing that. That's what the scouts have said, so I accept that as a belief. Don't Greg and I feel that way?
People are noting, Dylan Gabriel's arm tested better at the combine than Shador's.
Okay.
And, of course, he was drafted ahead of him.
He was drafted ahead of him. Go ahead, Greg.
I want to hit 2 points just real fast.
Yeah.
So, number one, I think our eyes told us that Dylan Gabriel is at best the backup. We didn't complete passes beyond 10 yards.
Good point.
During those 6 games that he, started in the NFL. And I think sometimes you can just see it, right? Even if he threw a ball like beyond 10 yards, it just looks like a struggle. If you ever coach youth football, you try to force this kid to be the quarterback, and you just see he just doesn't have it. That's what it looked like to me when Dylan Gabriel played. So that's the first one I want to hit. The second point, and the main one that I want to hit, the reason why I genuinely believe that this is a conversation in the first place, and you're reading stuff from Zach that you're doing, is because Zach is, as opposed to Zach saying, hey, I'm wrong, the Browns are not playing none this season, he's going to just come up with another narrative to try and match that point that he's been trying to make, that they should play on this season.
I'll tell you this.
Let it go.
I'll tell you, Greg, and thank you very much for the call. I mean, it's not just him. I mean, Petrak was on yesterday, right? What did Petrak say yesterday? That was something like, I was like, good God. I mean, that's nothing good. We don't have anybody in there to play it yet. But what Petrak said, what? That they had a terrible first day, and that what the quarterback competition is mediocre as a group, is what he had said? Isn't that what he had said, mediocre as a group? So if we're mediocre as a group, why am I close-minded to anybody? I ain't saying to start Dylan Gabriel. No. I
You're
said
just
to
saying,
be
fine,
open-minded.
open up the competition.
Yes, fine, open up the competition. We do have, I'm sorry, I didn't even see you in there, Kayla. I apologize. Here is Petrak on that QB competition. Listen to what he says.
When you just focus on the quarterbacks, it's been mediocre as a group. Sean Watson had a terrible first day. I thought he's been better since throwing the ball, but still the accuracy is inconsistent. And I think that's troubling because I felt that way in the offseason program too, that he'd make one good throw and then 2 bad throws. And then you have the interceptions, and we could talk about how important interceptions are in end of July, early August, but he's throwing a bunch of them. I think it's 6 through 4 practices. That needs to get better. I think Shedeur Sanders has been clearly better than Watson, and it's only 4 days. Clearly better. He had his first interception yesterday. He probably could have thrown a second one. Grant Delpit didn't grab it, but he's done a better job protecting the ball. He's made, I think, a couple of 2, 3, 4 really good throws a day where you go, hey, that's a big-time throw. There was one practice where there was a bunch of checkdowns. It doesn't feel like a whole lot of momentum being built by either of those guys, but if you're going head-to-head, I would say Sanders has the advantage through 4 days.
Makes me feel great. Makes me feel great to hear that as a Sanders guy. Doesn't mean I close the door on Dylan Gabriel if you're telling me twice in the same clip that they're mediocre as a group. Trying to find wins here.
I get it, and it's
if
all,
I got to go as Todd Monken, not 30,000-foot Kenny Carman here, who has plenty of time.
And to reiterate, like we could all be laughing at trying to draw conclusions like a month from now, trying to draw conclusions before they put pads on.
But I'm not trying to draw conclusions. Yeah. I'm trying to keep an open mind. That's what I'm trying to do. I have not said once that he should be the starter or that he should be leading. It's that there should be consideration. It's that we should have an open mind. That's what I'm trying to make an argument about.
Yeah, and
it's not that we should put up a wall in front of him.
And offensive linemen have no chance before they put pads on. Like, let's be clear here. They got nothing to hold on to. Like, it has been a mismatch, according to everybody, when it comes to defensive line versus offensive line. And the offensive line is completely new. They've had no time to gel. So it is probably laughable that we're doing this at this stage at all. But this is what we have to work with. This is all because, anytime we've actually seen these guys play football, it's been some of the worst quarterbacking in the league. So this is all we have.
Rick in Doylestown, I can give you 60 seconds. Go.
Hey, it's just basically a rehash. I mean, I'm 65. I'm seeing a lot going through all the years. And I do, Kenny, you're not wrong at all. We just want the best quarterback. Whoever shows out in training camp, that's who needs to play. I'm a Shedeur fan like you are. But, it's up to Monken. And if he tells me Gabriel's the best, that's what we got to deal with. But let him play. Don't judge anything upon last year. We put all our eggs in a basket with Monken. Let's let him make the decision and roll with it.
Rick, I thank you very much for the call. That's all I'm trying to do. Now, I think he would come with the biggest amount of risk. Because if Dylan Gabriel went out there and he actually did start week one, well, I'd be pretty shocked, to be honest with you. But if he actually did start week one over the other two and looked a lot like what he looked like last year, I think we'd be wondering what the hell are we doing here. And you could turn right around and say that is an indictment on the other two QBs. Absolutely. We'd have to see what they do. But damn, it would be the riskiest to put Dylan Gabriel in there as the starter. That's why it's like, man, I got to see a lot more. I got to see him with pads. I got to see him in preseason games.
And he couldn't even complete a screen
joint practice.
Pass last time we saw him.
You got to see the whole deal. But if we're only going by the first 4 days, I'm in no position as a team that won 8 games the last 2 years to say there's somebody here who has no chance to be a starting quarterback in this quarterback room of the guys who have been in an NFL uniform before this year. 216-474-0092. Daryl Ryder going to join us at 8:22. Coming up in 5 minutes. An unfortunate rendition of the national anthem for a legend. It's Lima Likes and 5 on the Fan. K&K Heating and Cooling. link fence, and so much more with a 5-year labor warranty on all new installs. NEOFence.com.
Listen to 92.3 The Fan on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn app.
Does Lima like?
Or does Lima no like?
Like?
Tell me likey. I'm liking it. I like it a lot.
No like.
He doesn't like you.
I don't like you either.
You're tacky and I hate you.
Like or no like. Like or no like.
But I definitely knew what I liked, and I definitely knew what I didn't like.
All right, we led the show with some baseball and what turned into a near melee, but it was benches clearing. But we got to give credit to where credit is due.
Lima Lakes.
Gavin Williams. He has struck out 10-plus batters and issued no more than 1 walk in 5 straight outings. Kenny, that's tied for the second longest such streak since at least 1900 with Chris Sale and behind only Clayton Kershaw. So Chris Sale in 2018, Clayton Kershaw in 2016. This is quite the run for Gavin Williams.
Starting pitching has really settled in, and it's been enough to really upset the fan base for not making any moves, because I don't think they're going to make any moves by 6 o'clock tonight.
Wait a second, Kenny.
Moves of note, not Bo Naylor being traded.
Okay, we missed out on Skubal, but who knows?
Well, you weren't going to get Tarek Skubal.
Who knows?
Tigers.
We'll get to that in a second.
Lyman no like.
Is this like an all-time drought by David Fry? I'm not talking for David Fry. I'm talking about for any baseball player in the history of baseball. The last time that dude has gotten a hit, you have to go literally a month. You have to go back. June 3rd was the last hit in a baseball game. His batting average is at 182. Kenny, why does he still get opportunities?
Well, because he came back from injury, and did nobody else have the feeling like, oh God, he got injured? And I mean, he was formidable at bat for a while, and then he gets hurt, and nobody else had the same fear. I couldn't have been the only person. Like, we'll see what happens when he comes back, and like he's fully healthy now, and it's a struggle. I think he puts a lot on himself, and I think he's pressing even more now.
Now we should also note
Lima like.
How about Quan? Now that is something when you were off.
He leads the American League now, batting 9th.
It's
incredible.
Does. He's up to 258. When we were having conversations, Kenny, he was in a total tailspin. Remember, he was at 209 at the end of June.
And we asked whether or not he was back.
He went up 60 points.
Yes, he did.
In a month.
He is back.
And so now's the time to trade him. Capitalize, get while the getting's good. I only did that because I had to ask a question last week.
What are you going to get in return?
No, I don't.
We got this stupid lockout coming up here. This sucks. This is putting you in a really bad place.
Well, and the only real chance you have in the playoffs is if Quan is doing this and Jose Ramirez finds his footing. Because Jose has, unfortunately, just with runners in scoring position, he is not coming through.
You're a game over 500. He lost 5 in a row at one point. You're a game over 500. You're 3 games back of the Central right now against a team that you can go ahead and you could catch up with in a week and take the lead on. Like, you are in an impossible position. You can't trade away any of these guys that give you any hits. You can't put the white flag up on a season when you're a game over 500 and right there in the thick of things. No. I mean, for the love of God. And let me check something real quick. Yeah, you're in the wild card, for crying out loud. You can't do that. So, yeah, you're holding on to Stephen Kwan.
Yeah, and we'll get to this later.
Laminole.
Major League Baseball, fix your sport. I know every owner
was interesting.
Could have gotten involved on Skubal. They didn't. I don't blame the Dodgers. No, of course I don't blame the Dodgers. Why would I blame the Dodgers? But we'll get into this a little bit later on.
No, I'd like to get into this.
This is really, really bad. It's so ridiculous.
Can't be good
for the sport.
But, other owners could have been involved.
Well,
other owners could have been involved. They didn't get involved.
Yes.
I'm just pointing that out for everybody.
You should point that out.
You could have got involved. Yeah, go ahead. Lima likes.
Congratulations to Donovan Mitchell. Yes, I saw the same joke 1,000 times.
What was
Donovan got his ring. All right. Well, he got his ring because he and Coco Jones got married over the weekend.
You guys got to find some new jokes.
I saw Evan Mobley there. I saw James Harden there. I also saw some of the Knicks there as well.
Okay.
Well, whatever. But Do you think we will see a new Donovan Mitchell now that he has tied the knot?
What do you mean by that?
Well, I remember we thought when Baker Mayfield settled down
It's
that
a
this
different conversation.
It always comes up. Pre-marriage, post-marriage.
I've never really heard stories of Donovan Mitchell raising hell, all sorts
No.
of hell in the nightlife of Cleveland, like I did some of the other guys you're talking about there.
Looks like
Lima likes.
we are going to get our announcement soon, tomorrow.
Oh.
I think 10 o'clock. Might have to go over there right after the show.
Uh-oh.
For the new name for the WNBA Cleveland franchise. A lot of scuttlebutt, a lot of speculation. If you go around town, Edgewater, they seem to be.
What name would you like?
Teasing a name. Now, Daryl Ryder dug in to some of the potential names as he looked up CLE Travel Sports LLC, which may be related to Cleveland's WNBA franchise,
All right.
had filed for trademarks. The Cleveland Sirens, the Novas, the Riveters, the Crown, the Cleveland Crown, Kenny, the Founders, the Racers, and Breakers all filed earlier this year. But people seem to think it's going to be the Sirens. Your thoughts? The Cleveland Sirens.
Out of those names,
I like the Cleveland Crown.
I do not.
Really?
No.
Why not? You
It's
can't
awful
chant it?
presumptuous. You can't what?
You can't chant Crown. Crown. Crown.
That's a tough one
Crown.
to chant. That's a tough one to chant.
It's also worth noting that there is a professional women's hockey league team called the New York Sirens. So do you really want to double up on names?
There was already a roller hockey team or whatever. No, a roller derby team that were called the Guardians.
Yeah, there were the Professional Women's Hockey League.
Yeah. What do you say about that?
They play at the Prudential Center in Newark. Ken, you want to go?
Who?
Anyway, the Sirens. So, the Cleveland Sirens.
I mean, if we ever find ourselves in Newark, why the hell not? I don't. But I got to find myself in Newark first. You got anything else over there?
Are you coming over with me tomorrow for the announcement?
No.
Are we getting season tickets together?
I have to.
They
no.
keep hitting me up. I signed up, and they keep hitting me up, and I just haven't gotten to it yet.
I have to head east tomorrow.
Okay.
To visit. I will not be able to make it, but I will be paying attention to the name that they pick.
Meanwhile,
Sirens, I think, is probably the best one out of that group.
Okay. Meanwhile, one final note. Hey, we have a new women's pro baseball league, and it got kicked off in style.
Oh, boy.
Over the weekend, ladies and gentlemen.
This is a shame.
Was she a Motown legend?
Yeah.
Martha Reeves, age 85.
Oh, gosh.
I play some of her hits to my kids, and they've been dancing. over
Dancing in the
weekend.
Street is one of the hits.
They have been dancing like crazy, dancing in the streets of Bay Village. There's been a
All
lot
right.
going on in Bay Village
Go
lately.
ahead. Let's play
Hey,
it.
listen to this.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so
I feel bad.
proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming?
All right.
Whose broad
Okay.
stripes
All right.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
feel bad.
Kayla, turn it down.
Martha and the Vandellas, they were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame back in 1995.
85 years old. Might be hard to hit the high notes anymore.
I'd hit any notes. Hard to hit them all.
It happens.
I feel bad. When I saw she's 85, everybody's mocking her. Everybody's going after her. I think she even
There's a Motown legend here. Let's have a
issued
little bit of
statement
respect.
as well. That's what I'm saying. I grew up listening. My parents had Motown on 24/7.
One of the few times I got along listening to
Was
Motown.
listening to Motown. So maybe we need to check in with somebody. This can happen.
I'm not
going
to sit there. Let's not go and insult one of the few good memories Lima has of his childhood here. So let's have some respect for Martha Reeves. Everybody has an off day. It happens.
She's just getting crushed from every
Nah.
I think we've reached out to Hayden Grove because that is our expert in the field. He can break it down how this went down, but we'll see if we can catch up with him later. But that's it for Lima Likes.
Outstanding as always. Daryl Ryder, 820. Who's leading the QB race right now, at least to Daryl? And if you want change, if you really want change, then the Dodgers might have to become your second favorite team. It's coming up in 5 on the Fan.
All the hits, grunts, strains, and sprains. Training camp coverage like nobody else. The Afternoon Drive. Weekdays starting at 2. 92.3 The Fan.
Tone, I believe we have a Connie.
Oh, we certainly do, Kenny. It's so great to have you back here so Kenny can help out with the Connie. And we
Fabulous.
do. 92.3 The Fan, looking for a winner. Enter the code word Avon, A-V-O-N, 923thefan.com before 9 a.m. Your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to 92.3 The Fan night with the Lake Erie Crushers. That is coming up later this week, Friday, August 7th at Ford Front Field in Avon. Ken and I will be there along with Nick Wilson, taking over all the in-game fun, including a first pitch at 7 p.m.
I'm not throwing out first pitch.
Well, who's throwing out the first pitch? I got to do it?
Yeah.
All right.
For this show?
Get tickets at lecrushers.com. It's all brought to you by Lake Erie Crushers and Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Man, I haven't coached baseball in a couple of years. You could ask some of the guys I coach baseball with, barely get my arm over my shoulder.
I think I could do it. Wouldn't be good. There's going to be no zip on it.
You going to do the George W. Bush and go and warm up before you do it?
Yeah, do I? I'll let it go. I was going to say something. I'll let it go.
Yeah, you're going to throw from the mound?
Yeah, you got to throw from the mound if you're going to do it.
60 feet, 6 inches.
That's right.
You throw from the beginning of the mound, front of the mound.
No, you got to just do it from the mound.
Are we all going to throw the pitch at the same time? Because that's the only way you can have a ceremonial first pitch. If we throw at different times, then it's just the first, second, and third pitch.
First, second, and third. That's right.
Yes. So if you throw out the first one, it's the first pitch.
Will we have a competition beforehand to determine the order?
No. You guys can go ahead and throw, and I'll do a dizzy bat race or something like that. I'm looking forward to Friday. It's going to be a hell of a time.
Do you have to wear a mitt when you throw out the first pitch?
Should I bring my mitt?
I got to find my mitt somewhere.
I have
no
a mitt.
idea where.
I have a mitt in the garage somewhere. Should I bring my mitt? You know, I've always had a strong grown men in baseball mitts to the ballpark policy.
But I think it all goes out the window for something like this.
Does it? Like, am I going to need to shag fly balls?
I think people are going to expect that you put on a dance, or maybe that we all choreograph one like the Savannah Bananas.
I watched a little bit of that over the weekend.
The party, you can't avoid it.
Which my buddy it was at the restaurant, and my buddy who is a former collegiate baseball player at D1, not a big fan of Savannah Bananas baseball.
Not a fan?
Anybody who's like involved in baseball at any level hates the Savannah Bananas. I don't, but
those guys all play baseball.
But I'm not involved in baseball at a high level.
At some level, these guys all play baseball.
I understand that. It's just a giant entertainment. People get mad because it sells out every building it goes into. I don't know.
It's insanity.
I have no idea. They were playing on the blue turf at Boise State over the weekend. I think they had 2 sold-out events.
They have a TV
deal. It was a wild
deal.
time. Yes. Maybe that's what bothers them. I have no idea.
And people are worried that next summer, if they can't get the CBA ironed out, there's going to be a lot of Savannah Bananas.
There's no worry about anything. It's just going to happen. It's just going down. You're going to see a lot. If you hate the Savannah Bananas, I'm sorry to tell you, you're going to see a lot of Savannah Bananas, because this is my contention here. If you want change in baseball, I think you got to make the Dodgers your second favorite team. Everybody's saying that the Dodgers are bad for baseball. I can't say they're great for baseball, but aren't they just putting a spotlight on what everybody else has been, I would argue, lying to you about over the last how many years? All they're doing the George Steinbrenner on steroids. Like after 94. And then you got to about, they won their first championship in 96, and then he just decided he was no longer playing nice with the other owners, and so he just decided to do what he did, and they won more championships out of that. But all they're doing is what Steinbrenner did in the early 2000s, are they not? Or in the late 90s, early 2000s? They're paying more money. They're making trades. The Tigers could have traded Tarek Skubal to anybody. They traded him to the Dodgers. The Dodgers wanted him most. They gave him the most, apparently. And the other part of it is I could sit there and say, well, they're ruining everything. I'm sorry. Did Yamamoto, did he or did he not? John would know this. Didn't he get offered more money to go to the Philadelphia Phillies?
It was close. I think they were. I don't know for
was
for
it more?
Sure.
Was it more money?
Sure.
Because I've always read that it was more. I think it's more money.
I would trust you on that. that.
Why would you trust me on that? You're the one from Philadelphia, John.
Yeah, but I was the one who was not covering baseball at that time. I wasn't digging into free agency.
Yeah, because
like that.
I'm well known for my knowledge on the Philadelphia Phillies over these many years. People know me as a big Phillies fan. Either way, like you've had opportunities. Like Max Muncy, was he or was he not DFA'd by the A's? Yes, he was. You've had Freddie Freeman. You made your choice on Freddie Freeman, Atlanta, now didn't you? Okay, why am I blaming the Dodgers on all this?
No, I don't. Honestly,
I think you agree with me on this.
Honestly, I don't think people are blaming the Dodgers.
So the only way to stop the Dodgers is what? This is why I'm saying it. The only way to stop the Dodgers is what? Cap and floor.
Oh, a work stoppage.
That's the only way. But to stop the Dodgers from just taking over baseball and winning all the rest of the championships, the best way to stop the Dodgers is a cap and floor. You can't sign this guy. Why? Because you cannot spend any more money.
Yeah.
You are up against it. You cannot spend any more money.
And the floor, and the deferrals too. Don't forget about the deferrals that, they have been using. It's a wild advantage that the way they can, stipulate the contract with all the money that is going to be backloaded and the percentage, and they're going to, the player makes out on this. Look, it's not something I'll never blame the Dodgers. And you're right. It almost has to get so absurd, which this was.
This is absurd.
To get people to all unify, because it's the only way that you can actually affect change in a sport like this.
It's been building for a while, and I think that now it's gone over the top. And so if the Guardians aren't going to do it, which I tell you, I got another theory about them coming up here in a moment, but if the Guardians aren't going to do it, then I think you have to look at it and say, all right, then I guess my second favorite team is going to be the Dodgers. And because the Dodgers will necessitate change. If they're at the bargaining table and it's been 3 straight years of Dodger dominance, and it seems like there's not going to be any end in sight, and they'll continue to be the biggest market with the most money, the second biggest market, but with the most money that's going after all these players, then you're going to have to find a way to stop something. And this is going to make it uglier. This is going to make it longer. But if we can fix this for the greater good of everything, then I think it's a necessary change. And I think it's a necessary wait. I hate to do this. I know we have friends over there, and I don't want them to have to go on any sort of furlough or anything like that. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. But if we're going to do this, then damn it, I want it to be done right. Now, I know that there's a little bit of a backslide to this. We saw what happened with the second apron right now in the NBA, where it might be a little bit too stringent.
The overcompensation.
But damn it, you look at what baseball is, and I think there's plenty of fans out there that if they believe their team actually had a chance, whether it's real or not, whether this is just put in by the owners or not to kind of make it seem like, we just can't do anything because of the big bad Dodgers. Whether it's real or not, that's how they feel. They feel that their team doesn't have a chance. This is why, I look at it over this last year, and I don't think we're going to make any moves by the time 6 o'clock comes around. And so we're going to go another year.
Maybe some bullpen help.
Where we've played over our heads. We're going to go another year where more than likely we're not going to do anything by the time 6 o'clock comes around. And so that means that Jose Ramirez coming back and Angel Martinez coming back, they were your major moves. That's what I'm guessing is going to happen. And I tell you this, I know I've been defensive of their way of doing business. I know I've been defensive of the owners, and I still say that, they're good Cleveland owners that want to keep the team in Cleveland, and they've signed everything to make sure that it's a family of lawyers to make sure that team stays in Cleveland for a long time. But if you're a fan going, hey, if not now, when? I can't blame you. I can't blame you if you're frustrated.
Yeah, but I blame baseball more than I blame any individual owner.
But we've done this argument before. Aren't they a part of baseball?
They are, yeah. But I'm saying I blame the fact, and it's why I've lost so much interest in the sport. Not the actual data. Like when I go to a game, it's awesome.
I understand,
Was sitting there yesterday with my young kids watching baseball, and that to me is still awesome. But I cannot ever have the exuberance, the passion that I used to have, just because this is such a joke. You got 6 teams under $100 million. Next year,
I understand.
Look at the commitments. Right now, the Marlins have $5 million committed with their payroll next year. Right now, the Rays have $13 million. Right? The Guardians, $39 million. This is a joke.
I'm surprised they have $39 million, mostly because of Jose Ramirez. That's my point of it. Is you have not just Guardians fans, you have plenty of other teams that do not as well as the Guardians, but you have plenty of small market teams that do decently and are told, well, we just can't play with the big boys. Then find a way to play with the big boys. Then necessitate that change. And if it takes a whole year next year, I guess we're going to have to break down Savannah Bananas baseball in the middle of June. Because something is going to need to be done. Because I can't sit there and just blame the Dodgers for exploiting whatever loopholes or doing what's necessary to win a championship for their fans.
I would do it too. It's a rich getting richer, and it's just such an absurd level now. The Dodgers, their payroll projection, $406 million this year, and we are at 85. Come on, this is not a real sport.
I do not.
This is not a real sport.
I agree with you.
To have that kind of disparity.
I totally agree with you, but we can't lose focus of this, and I know you're not. I can't lose focus and just keep saying it's the Dodgers, because that's what every other owner in Major League Baseball wants us to do. They want us to say, big bad Dodgers, this is terrible, this isn't the way. No,
we can't.
You're part of the ownership. You've made
owners.
a problem. I'm not trying to do that.
And that's the problem. You have to get, and the players union just won't budge on this, and so there's going to be a work stoppage. So guys are going to miss paychecks.
And I have
that's the reality.
Exactly. And I think that's part of the reason why I have to do something that's the most realistic out of all of it. Go through a terrible lockout, go through a terrible CBA negotiation that's going to get ugly and nasty and bitter, and you're going to have Bryce Harper saying even more nasty things about Rob Manfred and everybody and cussing everybody out. And fine, I guess we'll break that down. But if it means a salary cap and salary floor, then to hell with it. Fine. Because they've told us a million times, it's not that they can't, it's also that they won't. And that's part of the difference. And for a long time, they wouldn't. Now, because of the television deals that are going on, they may very well can, but it becomes a guy crying wolf for so long. And for a Guardians fan out there that's a Guardians fan first, I'm supposed to tell them to suck it up and deal with it when they're looking at a lineup that still messes around with first place in the Central, where you have 3 rookies at any given time in your lineup, where you have guys that you put 6th that are batting. What was it, Friday night? Reese Hoskins is batting 6th. He's batting 160 or whatever the hell it is. That is not what fans want to see. They want to have the best chance that they possibly can. It's part of the reason why the NFL works. I have baseball doing well at every other level except for Major League Baseball. I know that we spend so much time bitching about what makes baseball bad and not about what makes baseball good. But we're seeing it right here in our face, the chance to make it better for everybody involved and to help put them in a better standing with the general fan base out there. So I can do 2 things. I can make it better for my own team. I can make it more competitive for my own team, putting more pressure on my front office, which my front office has been relatively good for a very long period of time, and then I can get the general interest of the fan back.
That would only fix it here. Like, let's just say,
I think it would fix it in a lot of places.
You had a Dan Gilbert that was here, but why do you think that's not happening? Why do you think?
Because there's no floor.
They're doing it in the NBA, but I think just a floor doesn't fix anything, because that just drives up spending for veteran players, and those turn into bad contracts.
Then you have to also have a cap and floor. I've been saying it the whole time. Yes.
You got to have a cap.
Yes, but a cap and floor.
And honestly, I'd be willing to miss baseball for an entire year to get it done. I would 100%.
I don't want to agree with you.
I have no interest. Kenny, does anybody have interest when their team is not in the World Series?
No.
I do in the NBA. I do in football. I don't in baseball, because it's not a real league. It's not a real collection of teams until you put them on equal playing fields.
I don't want to agree with you, but I think we all have to agree with you. We've been talking about this. I wrote a paper about this in senior year of high school, for crying out loud, Miss Tuesdale's class.
And you didn't have ChatGPT.
I didn't have ChatGPT. I still don't have ChatGPT. I'm telling you right now, at least I don't knowingly have ChatGPT. I'm telling you now, there's no better time to fix it. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be nasty. There's no better time to dig your heels in and let the other side have it. Darryl Rutter coming up at 8:22. Who should be leading the quarterback race as of right now? And tomorrow, they're announcing that name for the new WNBA team. I want to find out from him. He put out the LLC of all the ones that all the names that have been reserved, possibly. I want to know what he thinks is the best name for the new Cleveland WNBA team. That's coming up in 5 on The Fan.
problems on 422 eastbound as there's an accident near I-271. Jeff Thomas, Odyssey Cleveland traffic.
Whether you're at the ballpark, on the golf course, or doing nothing at all, get the Cleveland sports news at 923thefan.com or use the Odyssey app.
The dangerous one. He's brought to us by who, Kayla?
Scheiben Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store.
Let's ring him up. The dangerous one, Daryl Ryder. He joins us right now, as he's wont to do on a Monday morning. Hello, Daryl.
Hello, boys.
You're a wonderful man, and we thank you very much. We thank you very much for your time and your candor. For you right now, say you had to play a game tomorrow. Tomorrow. Who would you start?
Shedeur Sanders.
Okay.
That was
There you go.
easy.
And why?
Upside plus between him and Deshaun, he's been the most consistent, and he's throwing fewer interceptions in practice.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
Yeah, I'm not on the let's play Deshaun Watson train this year. Sorry.
Okay. Well, I'm not either. I'm getting absolutely smashed on the internet right now, though, for a different reason.
What did you do?
I believed that I'm only going by what I've read.
Okay.
That I personally believe that there should be an opening to possibly consider Dylan Gabriel.
Oh, boy.
If that's what I'm reading is true, that he's doing much better than what he did last year, and he's doing as good as what the other two are. I can only go by what I've read.
He's also going against the threes,
Which sounds familiar now, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Doesn't it?
But he does look better. I will give him his credit. I'm not a fan of him as a starting NFL quarterback. I think he's got a tremendous career ahead of him as a backup. But credit where it's due. To be fair, he has done a nice job these first 4 practices in camp. And I would argue he has been as good, if not better, than the two guys competing for the starting job. But again, he's working with the threes, not with the ones or the twos.
Mm-hmm. Which, again, we all thought that the guy who was throwing to the threes and not the twos last year should have had a legit shot at it. I can only be fair to what I've seen so far. I would like it to just be a 2-man race, and
Which
that's
I
fine.
think it is.
And I hope it is. But if I can just go by what I'm reading, and I'm not saying this to upset anybody, then I just have to keep an open mind towards things. Now, shouldn't I? That's all I'm saying.
Well, right now, honestly, I wouldn't give the starting job to any of these guys, but this is what they have.
Well,
so.
There you go, Daryl. I mean, there you go. So we won't give it to anybody. We might as well be open to almost anybody. Should we not?
Pretty much.
Should we not?
I mean,
okay.
I have never well, I can't say never. We've done so many of these things. I'm thoroughly unimpressed by the quarterback play in camp so far, and hopefully it improves as the installation continues, which goes, by the way, until Thursday. And then Friday, the installation is done, and then I guess it becomes review and then really evaluate what these guys are doing.
Okay.
Well, that answers the next question I was going to ask, Daryl, which is Shedeur Sanders winning this quarterback competition, or is it just Deshaun Watson's losing it?
I think Deshaun's losing it, quite frankly. I said this yesterday because I got accused of being a standard bearer for Deshaun and pounding the table for Deshaun, and they must have had me confused for somebody else, and I just basically said on the show yesterday, fine. I think Deshaun is washed. I don't think he has much to offer the Browns. You give him credit for working hard to rehab, get himself physically healthy, get himself on the practice field last year, so where they opened that 3-week window before ultimately shutting him down. He's able to compete for the starting job this year, but and this is a both quarterback problem, and this is why I say, I'd rather not start any of these guys, but the quarterback room is the quarterback room, and they got to start somebody September 13th in Jacksonville. and that is it feels like for every good Deshaun throw, there's 2 or 3 bad Deshaun throws, and for every good Shador throw, there's 1 or 2 bad Shador throws. And again, maybe that's going to change. I do have to look at it through the lens of they're working on things, they're doing installation. The first 2 practices were not designed for throwing the ball vertical down the field because they were third down, a lot of third down situations in the team periods and whatnot. But we have seen the ball get thrown down the field. They worked on some red zone on Saturday as well. That was a big chunk of the practice. So, today is going to be, because they're in pads, a lot of gap scheme stuff today. So I'm guessing the running game is going to get a good workout today. But I just, when I look at what this Browns offense is going to need to be this year for them to be successful, it's going to have to center around the running game, even though your 2 rookie receivers have looked phenomenal. But the problem is your quarterbacks don't look phenomenal. None of them do. And if you want to win in the National Football League consistently, you need a quarterback who can look phenomenal in practice, at least. And then you hope they can carry it to the game, and none of these guys look that way yet.
Well, it does seem right now that anytime any of the quarterbacks throw to Denzel Boston, that is when they look at their best. What can you say so far? When's the last time you've seen a rookie wide receiver look like this?
Yeah, it's been a while. But, yeah, he catches everything and anything. He goes up and gets the 50-50 balls. Got to give Casey Concepcion his love as well. It's a really good start for both of these young receivers. Boston had a great catch on what I thought was the play of the day from Saturday's practice. Shador threw it deep down the field. Boston went up and made a catch with the defender draped all over him. And that's just been what he's done this entire camp. He has been very, very impressive. You see him show the ability to get some separation as well, to give the quarterbacks someone to throw the football to. So I'm really excited to see him this year. I don't want to get overly excited and say, hey, he's going to have a 1,200-yard rookie receiving season or anything like that. But the potential I see in him right now, I'm anxious for the regular season to get here to see what he does on game days.
What would have to happen for you to consider signing Deshaun Watson to a new contract?
He would have to be spectacular this year. And I'm not talking about leading the NFL in passing yards while you go 4-12 and most of your yardage came with the game decided because your team got your butt kicked. I'm talking about he plays at a high level and the Browns win football games. If he is average, I'm not interested. It has to be he has to show a lot of elite ability for me to even consider it. Again, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think it's fair for fans to expect that that's going to happen. This guy's been through a lot in 6 years. He's played 19 games, sat out one by choice, sat out another because he ruptured his Achilles, not once but twice, sat out the bulk of a season because of a suspension, sat out another bulk of a season because of a shoulder injury and shoulder surgery that followed. So he's been through a lot in 6 years, and I just don't have any expectation. You're going to get maximum effort from the guy. This isn't an effort thing. This isn't a trying or want to do on his behalf or anything like that. It's just, look, the body can do what the body can do after being through so much stuff, and I just don't know that Deshaun Watson physically is going to be able to do what's required to help the Browns win football games.
What do you think of this head coach and his style so far?
It's refreshing. It certainly is a change of pace from what we dealt with the previous 6 years. You know where he stands on just about any given topic. I like the fact that he's very honest in press conferences, and sometimes he's so honest he has to stop himself and do like a self-correction. Perfect example of that when he was talking about evaluating the quarterbacks, and he's like, hey, we're doing install. We're not really evaluating these guys right now because there's nothing to evaluate. We'll do that starting on Friday. And he's just like, well, yeah, I mean, we are evaluating, but we're not evaluating on the level that you would evaluate when you're going through a practice and you're game planning and scheming against defenses and things like that. You're evaluating, are they taking in the information that they're getting in the meeting rooms for the installations and taking it to the practice field, looking where they're supposed to be looking to go with the football, getting it out on time, getting it in a good spot to the receivers and all those type of things. So, yeah, I mean, he certainly is a breath of fresh air. I know I wasn't blown away when they hired him. I had my doubts. I was very skeptical of it. But, again, credit where credit is due. I think he's done a really, really nice job this offseason, and his ability to effectively communicate with everyone, I think, is something that locker room really appreciates.
Daryl Ryder joining us here on the show this morning. Daryl, as far as outside of the quarterback, what do you think is your biggest concern after the first few days of training camp?
I honestly want to say the offensive line, but that's just so grossly unfair at this point. Because because I mean, look, I mean the defense, they're throwing parties in the backfield on just about every snap, but they're not in pads yet, and it's a limited engagement for the offensive linemen.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get a better, more crystallized view of this rebuilt, new look offensive line starting today and going through this week with them in pads. But, I mean, it is hard to miss how, I should say, aggressive the defensive line has been early in practice. They don't seem to care that they're not in pads and that, things are a little slower right now, or were slower, I should say, in those first 4 practices. So, aside from quarterback, I'd say offensive line, but I have to put an asterisk on that and say that it's really unfair to say that right now until they're in pads. But, you asked the question, so I gave you an answer.
Jared Verse, every time he gets in front of the microphone, my ears perk up. I'm listening. I'm paying attention. I imagine that's the case right now, not just the media, but when he's talking to his fellow players.
Yeah, you can see it just a natural leader, comes natural to him. I did laugh when he said that, because he was asked about being so talkative. And he goes, I kind of got my hand slapped for that in Los Angeles. I kept getting myself in trouble for being too vocal because I was a young player. And I guess it was Sean McVay who was telling him, shut up. So, but I don't have a problem with that. It's what the Browns need, quite frankly. They need that strong voice on that side of the football. And Myles Garrett was really never that. He was a strong voice in his play, but he was never really a strong voice. And I think that Jared Verse is going to not only be strong with his play, but he's going to be a strong voice for them. And so, but you're right, Anthony. When he speaks, you listen. And you listen closely because he does, he's a very team-oriented guy. But, he does tell you, what's what. And you watch him on the practice field, how he interacts with his teammates and how he's helping younger players and whatnot. It's hard to miss. And so, again, I think Browns fan will come to appreciate the player that Andrew Berry was basically insisting upon he receive back from the Rams.
Daryl, we thank you so much for the time. We'll talk to you here in a bit. All the best to you. Blessings to you.
You bet, guys.
The tremendous Daryl Ryder. And Kayla, who's Daryl brought to us by?
Scheiben Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store.
Outstanding. Tone, I'm having one of your days on social media, by the way.
I love it.
Do we want to open that conversation back up?
What a way for Kenny to get back from vacation, to fight with strangers and the bots online.
And I don't like doing it. That's how you know I'm telling the truth. I don't like it, but I have to say it. That and Jared Verse is going to make Lima's biggest fears come true this year. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima on The Fan.
Getting a speeding ticket can ruin your day. But what about that cyclist? Or the pedestrian crossing the street? If you hit them while speeding, you'll do more than just ruin their days. That's why tickets are more than just a fine. They're a second chance. a reminder of what's on the line when you're behind the wheel. You won't get a do-over every time. So take this as your sign to follow the speed limit every drive. Speeding slows you down. Paid for by NHTSA.
Hey, don't be pressured when it's time to shop for an engagement ring. Stop in and see Josh at Bookman & Son, where jewelry shopping is made easy and comfortable. BookmanandSon.com.
If you dread dealing with your insurance company more than you dread build-it-yourself furniture, that came in 47 different pieces.
Why do I have 6 extra screws?
With extremely vague instructions.
What are these? Hieroglyphics?
Then you might have Insuranoia. And if you have Insuranoia, then you should get NJM. They go to great lengths to do what's best for their policyholders. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. NJM. Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
Back again in the studio.
Pooker's Design Center.
Our podcast,
whatever you want to call it. Should we start a Pooker's podcast?
Cleveland Legends. Ari, it's almost back to school time, Ari.
When it's back to school time and you have to get those kids in bed on time and woken up on time, your blinds can help.
Yeah.
Room darkening, light filtering. It will help with their sleep schedule.
And you can watch your TV during the middle of the day without sun glare, right?
Or if you're a late sleeper, you work a different shift, you need that true light blocking. We have options for that too here at Pooker's.
It's probably good for your mental health.
Absolutely. A good night's rest goes a long way.
What deals do you have?
So we have 12 months no interest financing and also 5% off when you mention the radio ad.
You guys will take care of everything and they can go just worry about back to school shopping for supplies, right?
We'll do the rest. You can reach out to us anytime, 440-234-0991. Pookers.com, or come in and see us at Berea or Broadview Heights.
Join me, Andy Baskin, and 92.3 The Fan live at Consumer Tire, located at 216 Cherry Avenue in Chardon, August 6th from 4 to 6 for a massive customer appreciation party. Got food, autographs, games, and of course, giving away a free set of tires. Get the details now at 923thefan.com.
92.3 The Fan. 2020 Sports.
Now the Guardians blanked the Diamondbacks 5-0. Gavin Williams allowed just one base.
5-year labor warranty on all new installs. NEOFence.com.
Your morning routine has changed. Wake up with the Fan Warm-Up Show with Jeff Thomas. Weekdays starting at 5 a.m. Catch up on all the latest from Cleveland sports from the night before and around the sports world leading up to the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima. It's the Fan Warm-Up Show with Jeff Thomas. Weekdays starting at 5 a.m. on 92.3 The Fan.
Just a natural leader. I did laugh when he said that because he was asked about being so talkative. He goes, I kind of got my hand slapped for that in Los Angeles. Kept getting myself in trouble for being too vocal because I was a young player. And I guess it was Sean McVay who was telling him, shut up. But I don't have a problem with that. It's what the Browns need. They need that strong voice on that side of the football. And Myles Garrett was really never that. He was a strong voice in his play, but he was never really a strong voice.
But now it's his team. Like, you went from a arguable perennial Super Bowl contender. I know they've had a couple of lean years here and there, but it hasn't been very many at all, and there's only really been one, to a team that needs leadership badly. So speak up all you want now. It's your team. They traded for you. You're a first-round pick. They traded their biggest asset that they have for you. That's a lot of pressure. But yell all you want. I think he could back it up with 10 sacks. 10 sacks is fine. 10 sacks is probably asking for a lot, but he went from 4.5 to 7.5. 10 sacks would probably be the natural order of things. 9, 10 sacks, somewhere in there. You're going to need more people around him because it's not just Myles anymore. But you already have a good defense as it is. I mean, these are good football players. You can lose a lot when you lose 95. Let's not be stupid about it. But damn,
well, yeah, and he had
you want to be a leader, and he has every makings of wanting to be a leader. Here is your golden opportunity to be a cornerstone of a franchise now.
It is amazing, though. You're just looking at Myles and his insane season last year, and he probably should have had more than the 23 sacks, the record-setting 23 sacks, because how many quarterbacks, like the Aaron Rodgers game where he refused to even throw the football normally, because Myles was out there. And yet, you said 10 sacks for Verse, and he had a 3-game stretch last year where he had 10 sacks. So just that puts it in perspective. Like, expecting anything like Myles is probably not the way to go. With that said, there does seem to be a totally different approach when it comes to leadership. And I know there's a lot of different ways to do it, but I do think this particular locker room could use Jared Verse's style.
Well, to not have that type of vocal leadership, you have to be a game-changing type of player. And that's what Myles was. He was a game-changing type of player. But you know it as well as I know it. And I think anybody listening knows it. Bad situations, which we've had many of them, are made far worse when the guys that you really count on are either A, not vocal, or B, every bit as cynical as you are. And there were some times where Myles was cynical. Now you can't have that because I don't think it's going to be that great of a year. If it ain't going to be that great of a year, then you got to get something out of this season. It can't just be this slog to the draft. And so what am I going to get out of this season? Because I hope it's not this way. If it is, I guess I have to say it, but I hope it's not just some terrible slog that nobody cares about until we get to the offseason and start talking about the draft. So I need somebody to step in there and make this thing better, because not just a good communicator with your team, but also a guy that can bring the fan base with him. I mean, good God, if they start Deshaun Watson going into this year, it's going to be bad enough as it is to get the fans on their side. I mean, that's got to be part of the calculus to it. Like, if you're one of the people that are in charge of moving things over there and to get fans involved, you got to be really pulling for Shedeur. But if it ends up being Deshaun Watson, then you're going to need somebody that the fans trust. So it's either got to be Jared Verse or somebody else. No better time for a guy like Jared Verse to take over in that leadership role. Would love to see it, and you need to have a good message to the rest of your team. You have to have a good message to the rest of the fan base. And I don't have to answer for any of the other stuff. And, well, does he love foot? I don't think we're ever going to have. One of the bad things is you're losing a great, great, great player. But one of the nice things about it is, that's the worst thing, is losing the great, great, great player. But one of the nice things about it is that I don't think we're going to have any sort of weird conversations where you remember the afternoon show, and I don't think it was with Jonathan, had a show where whether or not that they felt that Myles Garrett loved football. And people called in, and plenty of them said that he didn't. Plenty of fans. We had to do a show off that because you and I felt he loved football, and then we had to call insiders cold on a random Tuesday whether or not he was actually elite and if he loved football. I just don't think we're going to have to do that with Jared Verse ever.
Is he going to be one of the safer,
which is a nice thing,
safer jerseys to buy for fans?
I imagine he will.
Schlesinger.
Unless something bad happens. I think him, Schlesinger, I think you put Delpit on the list now, probably. I think Denzel Ward, definitely, because I think he's retiring a Brown now. I think that those are the safe ones that you can buy. Hopefully Fano, but we'll see. Kid's got a great attitude and good athleticism. I hope that he's going to be a great player for this football team for a long time. He may start at left tackle and move into something more natural as time goes on. He might do that because I know that they've said, hey, he's going to start at left tackle, but there's always that conversation if they find themselves in a position where they have a natural left tackle that they feel they have to take, that he could go over to the right side or wherever. And I need to be more comfortable with moving guys around. He's a tremendous athlete. Maybe I should be more open-minded to something like that. But we're sticking him over at left tackle. I think he's going to do a fine job this year. But that's who you're hoping for. This year is about, in so many ways, even though you're not going to win a lot of football games, trying to establish some goodwill again. Because you had a lot of ill will with the fan base, and you banked on going out and winning a Super Bowl. Going out and really competing for a Super Bowl. When you made that trade, you were saying to everybody, it doesn't matter. We're going to figure it out. We're going to win a Super Bowl, and everybody's going to be quiet at the end of it. And the only time people actually got really excited was when the guy wasn't playing quarterback. And here we are, talking about whether or not we'll get excited. Dylan Gabriel, that's obviously a name that nobody wants to hear, but I have to be open-minded, and I'll tell you more about that coming up at 9 o'clock. And the other guy, people really don't want to see playing. But there is one guy they do want to see play. I hope he earns it. I want him to earn it, but we got to figure that out as time goes on.
Okay, people are getting really, really annoyed. We played Zach Jackson earlier. He said the quarterbacks aren't looking good. Darryl just said he was unimpressed by all the quarterbacks. And yet
Petrak called it a mediocre room twice.
Yeah, so everybody covering the team is saying this, but the Shedeur fans are getting in saying, no, Shedeur's been spectacular. So what is everybody missing here? What are the people that are actually there every single day? What are they missing that? And they've seen bad quarterback play before. If anybody knows bad quarterback play, it should be the Cleveland media. And obviously they've had, a couple of practices that were open to the fans so far. I am seeing it. Everyone cannot believe that Shedeur isn't being proclaimed the starting quarterback now, and that people won't admit that he's been great in camp.
The one threat to him starting isn't doing well, then I think to a lot of the fans that means he should start. And by and large, if we're just talking about fan interest, the other guy they boo against, they don't want to see him, and the other guy, they're ready to just move on. I'm talking about Dylan Gabriel. They're ready to just never have that conversation again, which I can understand, certainly. So the one guy that gets people excited, if he's not taking the reins of the job, or it sounds like he's not taking the reins of the job, it's going to make people upset because he's the only one that has a lot of upside for a lot of fans. And again, when I'm bringing up the Dylan Gabriel stuff, it's not where not once has it come out of my mouth, and I don't think it ever will, that he should be the starter for this football team. I've only pointed out that we should be open-minded. Now, I'll sell all that coming up again at 9 o'clock. But I'm just saying we should be open-minded towards if he's the one who's having a decent chance. But again, I'm only going based on what I read. So unless Scott Petrak and Zach and Darryl and everybody has been lying to me, because I was there Saturday, I got to see 3 passes because I was in a different role. If I only got to see 3 passes and what I saw out of Deshaun Watson wasn't bad in the 3 passes I saw, am I supposed to really go on the radio and say this is Deshaun Watson's job when I saw 3 passes? Based on what I've seen? Based on what I've seen. What did I see other than 3 passes and guys running out and slapping hands with kids? So I can only go by what I'm reading, everybody. And if what I'm reading is true, which I know that a lot of you think that it's all a big, vast conspiracy against one guy, but if what I'm reading is true, then I guess we have to be open-minded now, don't we? Okay. That's all I'm trying to point out. I knew I would get smashed for it online. I knew I'd get smashed for it on the phones today.
We just haven't.
I've made my decision. I'm not going to complain about getting smashed.
We just all wrote Dylan Gabriel off. Most people, I should say all.
Of course, I did.
Most of us wrote him off because we just thought this was going to be between Watson and Shedeur. We weren't even mentioning Dylan Gabriel. We thought he was getting traded. Now, there are people saying, well, he still has a chance to get traded. Of course. Yeah, they're not going to go into the season, I think, with this exact quarterback room. I think that's pretty obvious. There's going to be some shifting around, but does it? I'm not going to act like I've been dazzled by the stuff I've seen, but it is pretty interesting that everybody's kind of coming to the exact same conclusion, which is, the offense, it's been rough. Now, defenses are always going to be ahead.
Yes.
Especially when you have a brand new offensive line.
Absolutely.
They're not even wearing pads yet.
Absolutely.
So that's important. That's a huge edge to the defense. Let's see what happens as we get into real 11-on-11s when they're actually wearing football jerseys and uniforms.
216-474-0092. I'm going to get to some folks there. We got Cleveland's crooner, Hayden Grove, going to join us at 9:40 to go over this latest botched 9:45 to go over this latest botched national anthem. Because every time there's a bad national anthem, we have to call Hayden to try to explain it. And for the 2026 Browns, honesty might not be the best policy. That's at 9:22. Take us with you to work on the free Odyssey app.
all today's headline segments. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Whether you're at the ballpark, on the golf course, or doing nothing at all, get the Cleveland sports news at 923thefan.com or use the Odyssey app.
I'm back from vacation and I stepped right in it. And I'm getting see, this is where you got to listen to the show. Because if you listen to me for 15 years, not once in 15 years have I ever said anything on purpose to upset everybody listening. I hate Ohio State. That's never happened. That is a fake piece of audio that you guys spliced together.
Said it.
No, I didn't say that. That was a fake piece of audio that was spliced together by Kenny Kidd. It was AI before AI. That was several years ago. I have never, ever, ever once been, I got nothing to go on. Let me just get everybody cussing me out on social media. It's never happened. It's never come to my mind. I'll tell you this, I've had more quote-unquote boring, less interactive shows because I'm just not going to, I'm just going to say something to get everybody upset and we'll just have fun. No, it's never happened. And anybody who's listened for 15 damn years on this station knows what I'm telling them is the absolute sworn truth. I've never just wanted to get through a show by saying something that I knew was going to upset everybody. The only time you could ever try to even accuse it is when we have to dump too many people during coming in hot, and I tell people, oh, yeah, I have a question that would be a total troll question, and we'll use it as punishment if we can't keep our comments within the boundaries of good taste on a coming in hot on a Friday. That's the only time you could ever even accuse me of it. But there's never been a time where I've had a set talking point where I knew going in I was going to upset the people on purpose and then I didn't believe it. And I'm getting called clickbait troll and all this other stuff by people who just frankly don't know and probably aren't from here.
But Kenny, it does sound like this feeds into the anybody but Shador talking point.
Because who do you guys, this is the problem that I have. Now you're getting me good and pissed. Who gets sent the memes about being a cult leader for Shador fans?
You have gotten some of those.
What guy on this station? What guy on this station do people take and put imagery of me up looking like Marshall Applewhite?
It's
me.
I've seen it.
It's me. Who are the same people that have given me Jim Jones sunglasses? It's me. Yeah. These are the same folks. The anybody but Shador folks have done that. The people who hate Shador, because I'm supposedly the king of wanting Shador to play here.
You have not been threatened with physical violence if you showed up to camp like somebody else in this room.
And you know what? And I told you about that because there's times where
is up to 20.
And there's times when you look at that.
The ongoing tally is up to 20 of those.
Because they know I mean what I say. And you're the one who likes to wink into the camera every now and then on YouTube and get me really mad.
Checkmate.
Because it comes back on you. I didn't go out this morning to go, man, I've been off for a week. I'm going to really stick it to everybody now. No. I'm just giving you, guys, this is one of the few times I can give you the same type of analysis that Bob and Illyria will give you at a bar, or that Melvin and Streetsboro will give you at the Eagles or wherever. I went to camp on Saturday. I was there as a fan. I was chaperoning with all the kiddos there in the borough.
Didn't even lose any of the kids.
And just like a lot of dads.
30 out, 30 in.
Thank you very much. I'll tell you that right now. And a couple I was nervous about, but we got them all in. We got them all out and safely back home to mom and dad. But for a lot of you guys, like, yeah, you take your kids to camp, and then it's like, okay, they get out there. They get done stretching, and then they're on the other side of the field, or they're doing individuals, and 8-year-olds don't like watching individual practice or anything like that, so that gets boring. So you try to get them entertained, and you go over there to the face painting and the puppies and the 40-yard, and they have plenty of things to keep everybody involved. But you don't get to break down the practice the way you want to break down the practice. So you go by what? You go by what you read. You go by what you hear. And I'm doing the same thing everybody else did. I had last week off. I didn't show up till Saturday. I was immensely distracted on Saturday. I saw one quarterback, Deshaun Watson, throw 3 passes. I saw nothing from Dylan Gabriel. I saw nothing from Shador Sanders. But if I got all these people who aren't making it up themselves, you can accuse them if you want. I'm not going to speak on their behalf. I can only speak for myself. But when I got Zach lining up and Daryl lining up and Petrak lining up and Mary Kay, and they all keep saying, well, it's not really a great competition, but it's a competition. And I keep seeing how well one guy keeps doing. I'm not saying he should start. I'm saying we should be open-minded. Well, Kenny Dillon's doing it against third graders. Well, that'd be something. Now you're going to make short jokes, and I didn't mean to do that. Well, Kenny's doing it against third-teamers. I'm sorry. Was that not the narrative we fought last year about you-know-who?
It came up every day.
It came up every single day.
So the Sanders people should not use that. That should be one I would retire.
But the ones that don't know me will. And the ones that do, no, I'm coming to them honestly. And it's not about he should be the starter. It's never, ever came out of my mouth. Hell, they even used the Netflix clip of me yelling it the other day.
That's right.
Where I'm like, no, I don't want to go to Dylan Gabriel yet. No. So I've really never been a Dylan Gabriel guy. But if I just keep seeing, they're both kind of struggling and they're not wearing shoulder pads yet. So once they actually start running into each other, boy, it's good. Okay, then let's be open-minded if we're not going to be doing anything much this year. Oh, no.
Is there anything? Do you think there's anything? I
know there are some people that they don't care. They're just obsessed with disrespect, and they're going to take everything I say as disrespect. I can't reach those people.
Here is an honest question.
But,
is there anything that Dylan Gabriel could do or the other quarterbacks could not do that could open Todd Monken's mind? Like, why isn't Dylan Gabriel part of the competition? Is it because he played so poorly in the games last year?
I just think that he doesn't. Are you talking about going into the year?
Yeah,
going into training camp?
Why was he not included in this competition?
Seems to be a non-fit. Seems to be an overdrafting. Seems to be an overreach. Seems to be a bad situation for all of us combined. Him, us, the Browns, everybody. Seems to be, again, exactly what they said, a career backup. And when you're drafting a guy on a bad football team in the third round that's a quote-unquote career backup, that just sounds really, really bad. And I'll put that blame on Kevin because nobody said the opposite to me. Well, Kevin's not here anymore, so where do we think Dylan Gabriel is going to be? Not with the Cleveland Browns here very shortly. But if the other two can't seize the job, and it's only been a few days, but if the other two, from what I'm reading, can't seize the job, then, well, do we not open it up a little bit more? So what? I'm a troll and a clickbait artist for even considering the possibility in a long off season and a long training camp where there's an open competition to even kick around the idea.
Look, if it were me that
against my better judgments and against my own personal want,
I think because it's you. When we say consider the source, in this case, that's a positive for you because you haven't been that guy.
I've never been.
If it were me pounding the table at 6:01 that Dylan Gabriel should get a shot, all right, I would understand it. The fact that you're saying it, and yes, I can't believe I'm defending Ken Carman. It's not the way I wanted his end of vacation show to go.
No, it's going the way you want it to. I'm getting smashed online and on the phones, and
they're going to say you hate Deion next, and I know for a fact.
For the love of God! Now you know you're really. If anybody thinks I hate Deion Sanders, you know they're really full of it.
I gave him credit last week. I know Coward and Middlecoff went off at him being at camp.
Thank you for setting that up.
I absolutely.
I'm sorry. Is he or is he not the coach at Colorado University?
I had no issue with it.
Is he not the coach there? Because I'll tell you what, this is a nice thing. Can I bring this up? There were two new assistants. I was wearing a Streetsboro football
representing
quarter zip, right? Well, it's got the Rocket logo on it. I had two coaches on that. I can't believe this is where I'm going to connect this, but here we go. I had two coaches on that Brown staff on Saturday think I was Mike Jacobs from Toledo, who used to be the coach at Notre Dame. And then I think where is the coach at Campbell before that, but I'm not sure. Oh, hell, I'm drawing a blank where he came from. But he's been a successful head coach, former OSU lineman. I've never met him, but we look exactly alike in so many ways. I'm probably much heavier than him, but either way. I had two coaches assume I was Mike Jacobs. The one was like, Mike, hello. One of the new strength and conditioning coaches. Well, if I was Mike Jacobs, they were perfectly fine with me being there. He's a college football coach. He's at Toledo.
Yeah.
I understand Deion's a Hall of Famer and a very famous person. He has a very famous son who's playing quarterback for the Cleveland Browns that, yes, I do hope ends up being the starter for this football team week 1. But why can't Deion Sanders go to camp?
Yeah,
why can't he, as the Colorado football coach?
If he were there every day and he was getting in the drills and stuff, okay, might have an issue. He was on the sidelines, in the stands, actually. He was in the stands. And then he came down after practice to have a word with some of the players. I had zero issue with that. People preemptively said, what's Lima going to say? Lima is here, and he said, yeah, good. He should be there. He's supporting his son. I thought it was cool, and good luck to him as he goes back to Boulder.
Like there's family members who get to go to the friends and family tent, which is, and I think there's several of them now, but they get to go to that. Yes, Deion Sanders is a football coach, for crying out loud. He's a head football coach of a major college football program. Yes, he should be able to walk around. And before that, he was on NFL Network and on ESPN, if I'm not mistaken, and they roll out the red carpet at any camp for any one of those guys. So no, that's beyond the point. I'm not one of those psychos who say he has no business being at an NFL football camp when he's the head coach of a major college football program. The only thing I'm pointing out is that, judging on what I read and judging on who I see and hear, if nobody's going to take the job, I would love somebody to take. I would love Shedeur Sanders to take the reins of this job and start week 1. But if we're just going to hear about how it's quote-unquote mediocre all the way through, well, then I guess I got to be pretty open-minded now, don't I? And I don't just want to shut it out, everybody, when we're in no position to shut anybody out.
Well, ask the fans.
And it was that way last year when Shedeur was throwing to third-teamers, and people kept throwing that in my face.
I want you to ask the fans why, because they are not open-minded on this at all.
Whatever.
Especially the Shedeur fans. It's.
Do they feel I've stabbed them in the back?
It's nobody but Shedeur for them.
Well, I guess that's just where I disagree. I'm a Browns fan. I want the best quarterback to play. I will accept Deshaun Watson. I will accept Dylan Gabriel. I want Shedeur Sanders to play. But if he can't take the job, or he doesn't take the job, I hope he does, then I'll accept the decision that they make. And if they make the wrong decision and Shedeur Sanders ends up going in there in week 5 or whatever and tearing up the universe, I will accuse them of not knowing what the hell they're doing, and it ain't going to make me feel a lot better. 216-474-0092. All right, Deshaun in Cleveland. Hello.
Man, you know what I think the problem is? A lot of fans are getting upset is this. Like, it's practice, right? This is practice, but we can sit up and say the offensive line aren't good. Like, these idiot reporters in Cleveland, right? These are the same guys in practice.
So when should they have an opinion?
Their shirts on shirts. What they can say is, we can't evaluate the offensive line. Their shirts on shirts.
What they can say. Was the team evaluating the offensive line?
Hold on, wait a minute, Ken. Let me just hold on. Then another thing is,
I'm asking you a question. We're having a conversation here.
What was the question? Go ahead. What was the question? Go ahead.
So the Browns themselves are not evaluating anybody right now at all.
No, the Browns. Wait a minute. This is they can evaluate.
So the people who are covering the team that are there every day, they can't give their opinions on what they see.
They're not evaluating the offensive line and saying, "Can you block with no pads on?"
Yes,
You're not doing good with no pads on. That's what they're going to say.
No. I read that going on. I read that going on right there when KT Levinson is taking first team reps. I read that right then and there. People are evaluating the offensive line. Hey, you get as mad as you want, but I'm only trying to tell the truth here.
Okay, hold on. Wait a minute. Then coaching. You can't tell if our coach is doing good until game day comes. Period.
Okay.
You can't sit around and say that, I've heard many times that the practice looks exactly the same. That this might be a little different, this might be different, but Coach Monken is doing excellent.
Okay.
Right? Because why he's doing excellent? Because he's answered the media how the media wants him to answer. That's why he's doing excellent in the media's eyes.
And I didn't say he was doing excellent. I have no idea. So
you're going to reporting.
But
Everyone's
he's
reporting
got
the
to
coach
pick.
is doing well.
I know who my starting head coach is. I don't know who my starting quarterback is. That's the whole point of all this.
Sit up and say that he's doing a good job in his practice.
Who's doing a good job? Who's doing a good job?
Everyone is reporting that Monken is doing a great job.
Not me. I don't know if he's doing a great job. I have no idea.
I'm talking everyone. All the media is reporting
because he's a new head coach, and they just fired the other head coach who won 8 games in 2 years. This is a hard thing to explain. Are we going to be done? Are we going to be done with each other this entire call, Deshaun? Are we going to be stupid with each other?
Just wait a minute.
So let's get to something salient here because you haven't made a point so far.
Then also, the coach gets up there and tells you that it's install. That means they're doing the plays for the first time. They're installed. They're putting it out there.
Uh-huh.
Oh, the quarterbacks are horrible. The quarterbacks are horrible. Really. They're doing install. But you can, on all of this, you can tell in practice that the coaches are doing great, but the quarterbacks are horrible and the offensive line is horrible. That's what the Cleveland fans are being told every day.
When you are putting an install, you're supposed to know the quarterbacks because they've had this in front of them. They're supposed to know what they're doing. That's why it's called homework. That's why it's called study, Deshaun. So, again, you're yelling at me.
The plays for the first time.
They've never ran these plays ever in the history of the Cleveland Browns, in the history of their careers. They've never ran these plays. They've never ran these plays. This is a completely foreign concept. So Todd Monken's offense is completely foreign to anything that any of them have ever run in their lives.
Listen.
Okay, you understand how nuts that is. Okay, I'm glad we're on the same page now.
I just don't understand.
Lord Almighty.
How are we even a good job, bad job from a coach 3 days? Like, I think they're just saying he's communicating more. I think that's all they're saying. Kevin didn't communicate at all with anybody.
No.
So nobody had any way to gauge how things were going, good or bad, or even the players at times, I think, were wondering that. I think that's all. When Daryl said fresh breath of air, like, that's what he's talking about. Nobody knows if it's good coaching or bad coaching.
You're also replacing a head coach that got fired for what? Not winning football games.
Yeah.
And things weren't very good. And we didn't really know who was in power. And the head coach is supposed to be the one in power, supposed to be making the decisions. It seems that he wasn't the one making those decisions, except for obviously to take a guy in the 3rd round for crying out loud. So we just decide to pick and choose when we want to give the guy power. He ends up taking a guy who was a dud last year, who, because of what I'm reading, I should probably be open-minded to. But not once did it cross my lips to start that guy week 1. Not once. So you can kick and scream, and I understand. There's been a lot of people who've had a lot of fights online about Shedeur Sanders for the last couple of years and even longer than he's been with the Cleveland Browns. I can't help any of that. So obviously they're going to be very sensitive to anything that isn't very pro-Shedeur. Fair?
I think it's fair.
Okay. So when I said this, I knew going in I was going to get smashed for it. And so if I'm going to tell the truth, I better be ready to tell the truth. And I've told the truth back at 7 o'clock when I said it, and I'm saying it now at 9:18. I'm telling you the truth. If we get to a point where none of them are going to take it, then I have to be open to everybody. 216-474-0092. And, well, for me, I love honesty. But for the 2026 Browns, honesty might not be the best policy. All the guy was doing was trying to be honest, and everybody's beating him up for it. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima. Who's that guy? I'll tell you in 5 on the Fan.
starting at 5 a.m. Catch up on all the latest from Cleveland sports from the night before and around the sports world leading up to the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima. It's the Fan Warm-Up Show with Jeff Thomas. Weekdays starting at 5 a.m. on 92.3 The Fan.
Hayden Grove, Cleveland's crooner. 9:44 today.
Be curious to hear his analysis.
Poor Martha Reeves.
It's like when we have Joe Thomas break down the offensive lineman.
Yep. Now Hayden Grove's going to break down Martha Reeves and a not-so-great rendition of the Star Spangled Banner.
Is this unfair to do to a inductee in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
I mean, probably somewhat, but...
She's 85.
In all criticism and conversation unfair to some degree?
It was rough. Kayla,
I remember ripping Tony Pashos up and down years ago and not realizing he was playing through a serious injury, and then I apologized about that.
So Martha might have been, dealing with something.
She might. Who knows? She is 85. The voice isn't always going to be the voice. Maybe, we'll find out from Hayden coming up at 9:44.
It got off to such a rocky start.
It did. It certainly did. 216-474-0092. Are you enjoying yourself over there?
This has been
get harassed?
A nice day after having to do some heavy lifting last week with you out on vacation. This has been nice to sit back and watch the Shador people go after you, Kenny.
Well,
you went from being the head of the cult, according to some.
Well, the ones in my cult know me, and they know that I want Shador to start, but because I'm open-minded, who knows? I'm a turncoat or whatever. I don't know. So I'm not a cult leader. I'm only here telling the truth. I didn't sit there and tell them all to keep drinking Kool-Aid or anything like that. 216-474-0092. Brandy in Atlanta. Hello, Brandy.
Hello.
Hello. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing well, Brandy. Go right on ahead.
Okay, so I was just listening to your last caller, and you were saying that the quarterbacks are supposed to know everything that's going on, so practice should be good.
Well, they get a head start. I didn't say good. I didn't say it should be good, but they get a head start, so it should be a little bit more crisp.
Okay, got it. Let's keep that in mind.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, Deshaun Watson is supposed to be a practice warrior, so he's supposed to be good in practice. He's thrown 6 interceptions in practice.
Mm-hmm.
And then what are we supposed to get in the game?
Well, probably something worse. That's what makes me feel a little bit better about Shador's chances.
It does make me feel better about Shador's chances as well.
Absolutely.
So when I hear the reporters saying, "Oh, nobody's doing good, you're only saying that because Shador is doing good. Because how can we say that no one's doing good when Deshaun is throwing 6 interceptions and Shador hasn't?
Well,
what's the comparison that no one's doing good?
That's a valid point. Now, let me tell you this. If I had that contention, like say I had been to Browns camp and I had said that all these, like I had said exactly what you said, right? What you just said that the reporters are saying. I could turn right around, and I don't mean to be putting words in people's mouths, but I could go, just better than Deshaun. I could turn right around and say, ain't saying much. But I don't know that. I don't know. I can only go by what I'm reading. That's a nasty thing to say, but I would say it in an argument if I felt that way.
Well, the reports have also been if Shador can't beat Deshaun, we should cut him.
No.
If he can't beat Deshaun,
that's
he
not
should be
from
cut.
us.
Now, this is not
that was
from
Jason's.
Ken.
That was Jason Lloyd's opinion. I'll put a name on it, and I totally disagreed with Jason on this show with him.
He should be cut. If we can't beat Deshaun, he should be cut.
I don't believe that.
And then we've also had Cleveland reporters saying, let's give Deshaun the job now, today, before the first practice.
Who has said that?
I think she's going about the Mary Kay
thing. Yeah, just give Deshaun the job. So it's not that Shador supporters are kind of like, oh, we're just crazy fanatical. It's really because everything that's being said is not making sense unless it's something, that's positive on Shador. Anything that's positive on Shador, oh, no. But if it's negative on Shador, oh, yeah, that makes a ton of sense.
I see your point there.
A ton of sense.
See, this is where Brandy, maybe I should be angrier at my brethren. And thank you very much for the call. Maybe I should be angrier at my brethren because those two things are in her mind as she calls in. Jason, who said on this show that he should be cut, that Shedeur should be cut if he can't beat Deshaun. Said if he wasn't starting, then there's no point in any of this. And I disagreed with him strongly, red-faced, angrily during that show. And then I do remember, and this is true, Mary Kay had written and said that if she was making the decision, she would do it sooner than later, and she would just go with Deshaun. Now, that was said. So these things are pointed out there. I've been a Shedeur guy. But if I'm reading, and I can only go by the reports, not what I've seen, I ain't only been out to camp once, then I guess I got to go with opening up the books to everybody and hope that a professional football coach and his staff could be able to decipher who's doing well and who's not doing so well and who with their team that they would trust altogether to help them with their offense week one.
I would imagine that Todd Monken, when he took this job, part of the pitch was, hey, I remember when Deshaun Watson was a top 5-ish quarterback. He had moments, right?
That was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. I think I can design an offense that can get the most out of him. I think I can work to his strengths.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was part of the pitch. I also think that could be your pitch, and then you see him up close and personal, you're like,
absolutely,
no, he's done.
Absolutely.
So you're going to give him an opportunity, which is this quarterback competition.
Of course, yes. And if he can't seize it, then I'm moving on to the young guy. If I am Todd Monken. Now, I think they're going to win about 6 games this year. I know we're going to play Jimmy Haslam's comments here in just a second. I think they're going to win 6 games this year. I want to see who's going to give everybody the best chance at some happiness. Well, it's not Dylan Gabriel, and it's really not Deshaun Watson whatsoever. The best chance at any happiness is going to be Shedeur Sanders, but I'm not just going to hand him to it because, well, I got to see what's going on. I got to think about what Todd Monken could be thinking. So while I want him to play, I want him to take the job. And obviously, it's only been a few days of practice. He can take that job. This is an open competition. For the first time, I feel it's actually open. We've said that before, but it hasn't been an open competition. I really feel it could be. Jimmy Haslam spoke earlier Friday. Jimmy Haslam spoke and got some people in a bit of a row. Because he said, well, he was asked, what were the expectations going into this year? Here's Jimmy's answer.
Well, I don't know about high expectations. Let's say improved expectations, okay? We're always careful, as you know, to set the expectations, and I think we have made giant strides in our talent level the last 2 years, and that takes these young guys a lot of time, and I think we could have the chance to start double-digit first- and second-year players, and I don't care how good you are, it takes a little bit of time to improve, but we're really excited about the roster we've assembled.
I think that's a fair statement, and he was asked about what Vegas odds, and this is what Jimmy had to say about a win total.
I think the odds are for us to win 5.5 games. I'll take the over.
So what am I missing about him trying to be realistic and somewhat cautiously optimistic, I guess?
Yeah, the cautious, I think, is part of it, without a doubt. Look, it's tough. This is a league where most fan bases, or majority, they get optimistic, right? Every camp season. Even if you were bad last year, that's the beauty of the NFL, that you can turn it around. We saw what New England, the Patriots, were able to do in just literally 1 year from a disaster. They're in the Super Bowl the next year.
Mm-hmm.
Seattle won the Super Bowl. Like, things that are crazy can happen in this league. There is so much parity. So I think fans want to hear optimism about their team.
But I wouldn't do it if I were him.
Well, he did it a year ago. And he's done it.
Optimism.
There's been, every time he gives a State of the Browns at training camp early on, he will talk about how he has expectations.
And immediately, what do? Because if he sits there and he says, if you're being as realistic as you possibly can be, saying you said 4 to 5, I'm saying 6. All right, he said the over. So I'm guessing I'm going to go with Jimmy agrees with me on this, and his thought is probably 6 and 11, and we'll see where this year goes. Right? Is that enough? Maybe 6, 7, somewhere in that category. All right, if he says that he thinks they're going to win 11 or 12 games and they win 6, do you understand how out of touch he sounds?
Yeah.
So it's much better to just say, yeah, I'll take the over. Well, what's the over? You're over. Whatever you want to decide the over is. It's 5.5. I'll take the over. Because if you win 6 games, you're right about where you were. Is that not realistic? Can I say that we're going to have a better football team for the future and still win 6 games with young players? Like, everybody needs a quarterback. That's where I get that there's more ways to win other than a quarterback, and we have fewer elite, quote-unquote, quarterbacks, quote-unquote, elite quarterbacks than we've ever had. But you're still searching for that QB. And if you have him on this roster, fantastic. But not a lot of people do think that that guy's on this roster. So I got to be realistic here. You can have other guys. Remember, we had a 4-win football team once send 6 guys to the Pro Bowl back when the Pro Bowl somewhat mattered to everybody. So you can have talent on a football team that doesn't win a lot of football games. And it can be abundantly clear to everybody that it is right there. So are we going to turn right around? Or are we going to, if they win 4 games, say they win 3 or 4 games, are we going to say that Jimmy's crazy for saying the over? Leaves it pretty open-ended, does he not?
He did.
But if he goes out there and says, we're going to win double-digit games, we're in the playoffs, great. Now, if you fail to do that, then what are you going to do with your head coach? If you fail to do that, what are you doing to your general manager? If you fail to do that, where's my hope in the leadership of the owner? No, he had to leave it as open-ended as possible. He could have said 6 games, that's fine. He said over, that's fine. If he'd have said 11 or 12, which is something I know people want to hear right now, you're going to skewer him for it in October when it doesn't happen. So of all the things that Jimmy said, that's one of the more reasonable things, is it not?
Yes. I just know how people that we're always talking about what's the rebuild, what's the window, are they tearing it down? Are they, in the process when they're signing, and this happened while you were out, both Grant Delpit and Denzel Ward. And, we had Zach Jackson on, and he's like, they kind of got to figure out what they're doing.
And this is reality here. Because if we just want to leave names out of this, the guy that they paid $230 guaranteed to and gave up 3 first-round picks for is in a dogfight to start the season with a 5th-round pick, if we're just leaving names out of this. So with that being pointed out, I think he's being as realistic as possible. Because he did not think he'd be in this predicament in 2026 back in 2022. That's why they made that move. But now we're here, and he's not going to assign his name to anything that goes with some sort of a crazy prediction. And I wouldn't either if I were him. 216-474-0092. We got the trade deadline coming up. And Cleveland's crooner, Hayden Grove. What happened yesterday with the national anthem at the first women's professional baseball game? What on earth happened? What else did you want to say, Tone?
Oh, I'm excited to hear Hayden and his analysis.
That coming up at 9:43 on The Fan.
Guests appear on the 92.3 The Fan hotline, powered by Wise Hard Right. We make it right. Call Kyle Wright. Headline sports news every 20 minutes from the University Hospital's sports desk. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Can I take one before we take Hayden?
Absolutely.
All right, fine. It's an itch. I have to scratch it. Maurice in the Bay Area. He's listening on the free Odyssey app. All right, come after me. Here we go.
Man, ain't no coming after you, Ken, man. What's going on with y'all?
No, nothing much. Go ahead, Maurice. What did you want to say about Shedeur? I know you want to say something, so let me have it.
I'm just not understanding some of it. Again, those same people that was haters last year are the same people that you're listening to the reports. I mean, John let me in basically because at the end of the day, Ken, why are you acting like you're not getting my mentions?
What do you mean?
You saying you ain't seen nothing. I tag you in everything.
Yeah, but I'm not looking at I spent the last week barely looking at Twitter at all.
So I know. Hey, so look, so because of this, close your eyes and just understand the one quarterback everybody booed off the field has thrown 44 less passes than everybody. Where are those same people trying to get him to play again?
I don't know.
So this whole notion that he's playing well and him and Shedeur, again, context matters, according to Andrew Berry. There's no way you're comparing his training camp this year to Shedeur's last year. That's why he's in the position that he's in, because of the way he played last year. So when everybody talks, there's only two quarterbacks. Now, what Mr. Haslam said, both of you got mentioned this week, too, over that. Again, he's talking about improvement. He's setting realistic expectations. So he's understanding that he has a quarterback. He told one of them, I think it was Daryl, to relax a little bit on this. Why are y'all talking about next year? And next year, or maybe it was Grossi, next year's quarterback. We got this year to play. So we need to just
Maurice, can Dylan Gabriel improve?
Can he improve? Oh, by all accounts, he has improved. That same person threw, and according to stats, you love stats, Tone.
I do.
7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Do you want him to be your quarterback, Tony?
No.
I am not a fan.
No.
I'm not a fan. But
I know you asked Tone that question.
What about your EPA?
Maurice,
you have to have a great EPA.
Maurice, I got to let you go, but I had to answer it for him.
I should be more open-minded,
for myself,
and that's been one of the themes. I know we have to move on. I would just say this, and I know we brought it up. That wasn't Maurice's fault. If I'm a Shedeur Sanders fan, far be it for me to put myself in your shoes. I haven't lived the tough life that you have, apparently. I haven't been through all the trials and tribulations of a Shedeur fan, right? A nobody other than Shedeur fan.
Oh, see, here you go.
But I will say, we don't need to talk about last year's training camp anymore. It's been brought up. Every conversation it gets brought up.
I'm going to talk about last year's training camp.
If we didn't bring it up, you guys bring it up. So
that's not how this works.
I've even made sure to try to say, hey, there is context here. You guys love saying context.
I got to Hayden, but you're full of it.
I'm just saying, we now have a quarterback competition today. Last year is no longer relevant in terms of last year's, quote, competition.
How is it not?
It's not relevant to now, is what I'm saying. Shedeur has a chance to win the starting job. I don't want to hear anything about last year when it comes to comparing this year's quarterbacks.
That's impossible.
This year. The jury does not need to examine last year.
But you agreed with me.
Todd Monken does not need film from last year's training camp. He doesn't need to be filled in on every day. Wait a second. He was throwing the ball boys? Oh, my goodness.
You agreed to
that does not matter today when they go out there in front of a crowd and start to put their pads on. Doesn't need to happen.
But you agreed with me when I had said when people were killing me over the Dylan Gabriel stuff because it's not what I want, but it might. I'm just open-minded to having to accept it. It's not what I want. But when I said that people are telling me that he's throwing to third-teamers this year, I go, yeah, it sounds a lot like somebody else. Right. You agreed with me.
I did.
So I can't make that comparison now.
What I'm saying is you don't need to make any excuses or anything when it comes to this year's competition. The excuses, or by the way, I'd call them justifications. I wouldn't even say they're all excuses. There were a lot of justifications on why Shedeur Sanders was so horrible last year.
Okay.
By the way, same for Dylan Gabriel. Hate to say it. Same for Dylan. I think Dylan actually played against better defenses,
No,
but
here we
they both
go.
were bad. They both were terrible.
So Martha Reeves did the national anthem at the first
Speaking of
WPBL
terrible.
game. It was the first ever Women's Professional Baseball League game. And she did release a statement to TMZ, but here's a snippet of the great Martha Reeves, she's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, her group.
Yes. Well, but if you're part of the group, you're in the Hall of Fame. Here is Martha Reeves and the national anthem.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam?
All right, I've heard enough. I'm sorry. You got it. No. She's gonna lead it out of there. It's the end of an Ozzy Osbourne song. So she told TMZ in a statement, having just celebrated my 85th birthday, I've learned a great deal over more than 60 years of performing live. Said it was an incredible honor. Says, quote, the field conditions were wet and windy, and without stage monitors, I wasn't able to hear myself as I normally would. While it wasn't the performance I had hoped for, I'm grateful to have been there in support of these remarkable athletes in this groundbreaking league. And now we welcome in on the Wise Heart Right, We Make It Right, Call Kyle Wright hotline, Cleveland's crooner, Hayden Grove. Hello, Hayden.
Good morning, fellas. How are you?
Hayden, what on earth happened to poor Martha Reeves?
Dude, I don't know if it was Martha. I don't know. I think I've watched this video and I've studied it because you got to watch the video.
Did somebody else cut her? Did somebody else throw her off?
Was it a stand-in? What are you saying?
Well, no. If you watch the video, she starts and then she turns around and gives the death stare to her two background singers. So
I didn't notice that.
I think there was some miscommunication on what key they were in because they were both singing different songs.
Did she do the James Brown and turn around and people always think that he was helping and stuff like that, but he was actually yelling at the people behind him and they didn't know because he demanded perfection?
Well, if you watch the video, to me it looked like she gave him the death stare.
Oh, I'd be giving the death stare too. The woman's a Hall of Famer. She has one of the best voices in Motown history, and she sounds like that on her 85th birthday. The poor woman knows that she's running out of chances to perform live, and this is what she's given. Sorry.
It was truly my good friend and vocal coach and a friend that I made from The Voice. He's just a wonderful guy. His wife is actually from Hinckley, and his name is Carlos Santiago. He sent it to me, and I just had so many questions. I'm like, what did they practice? Did they rehearse? Why are they even there? Why did she need the background singers?
See,
I feel like if you did that without the background singers, it wouldn't have been as bad.
See, I saw this. Hayden, I did not. So she is looking right at them you guys need to pick your bleep up.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, my gosh. I never put that together. See, I'm not a stage performer. I'm not like you.
What are the keys? What are the keys, Hayden, to getting on key for a national anthem? They say such a tough song to try to master, and then you're on a PA system, which is not ideal. What are the keys?
Yeah, the PA system's tough because you can't hear yourself back really well. She is right about her statement. When you're when I did it at Progressive Field, you don't even have monitors, so you're basically hearing yourself back seconds later. It's a very weird experience. The key is just to go low. That's what I always say. You got to go low because you get too high, and then you can get into Glenn Close territory, and that's not good.
Okay.
Where you're going. Have you heard that one?
Yes, I have. Unbelievable.
Yes. So you got to go low, in my opinion. So go low, and I think maybe Martha started too high. That was a mess. I feel bad because she seems like a very classy woman, and that was a very classy response. But
all right, taking one for the team is what you're saying. So she's doing the Kevin Stefanski.
Yeah.
Blame it on me. I'll take the blame.
Well, she knows she's going to take a lot of hell if she ends up blaming the backup singers. But she is. See, I thought that was part of the show. She is singing and staring at these backup singers like she is going to fist fight them when this performance is over. I didn't even notice that.
Exactly.
Hayden.
Yes. I know radio is not a visual medium, and I know you guys have the YouTube channel, but you got to watch the video.
No, I saw the video, and I thought I didn't even notice it. I did not even. I was like, if anything, I just thought it was part of the show. I didn't put two and two together at all.
I love talking about. We'll do it in sports terms when we talk about projecting how long someone can do something. She's 85.
85.
Probably time to hang it up. I think even she would probably admit it. I mean, Frankie Valli, I'm seeing the videos.
Now she's got to go back out there and
she does have to get one right.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing Frankie Valli. I'm seeing some of these.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Hayden.
No, I hope she gets another chance. But my dad just sent me an article. This guy basically reviewed a Barry Manilow concert, and he's like, "Well, we got to let these people just, it's so hard because they obviously love to perform and they love to be on stage, and that's their life, man. And the fans obviously love it, but it's just like, it's like when you look like it's not the same."
Ooh, I saw a bad Vince Neil one the other day. It was really rough.
Yeah.
So,
I saw bad Vince Neil in 2009.
30 years ago, I saw bad Vince Neil.
Yeah, man.
So I guess I'd ask right now, let's put it more in Hayden Grove territory. Like Michael Bublé is 50. Harry Connick is 58. How many more years do you think we got?
Oh, man. I mean, if you look at Tom Jones, Tom Jones is still doing it. He's crushing it at like 75, 80, or
he still gets
up
the
there.
panties thrown at him.
Or a psycho.
Yeah, he's still an unbelievable vocalist. I mean, today is also, it would have been Tony Bennett's 100th birthday, and he was doing it into his 90s. So
with Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga, that's right. Yep. Yeah, she definitely helped him. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. LeBron is doing the Father Time thing, and maybe these guys are just going to get better with age. Who knows?
All right, Hayden, thank you so much for the time.
And local news, we permit you access to this clip. You can use it for analysis.
Hayden, you're wonderful. Thank you so much.
God bless, guys. Go Browns.
Cleveland crooner, Hayden Grove on the Wise Heart Right, We Make It Right, Call Right.
We should have asked him what he thought of Shador's new song.
Is he still on hold?
He's a musician.
I'm on.
Hayden.
Yeah, I'm still here.
He's still there. What do you think of Shador's new song?
I haven't heard it. I'm sorry. I'll go listen to it.
Okay.
I got to go check. I know The Perfect Timing. That's a good song. He's good. But what's the new song called?
Tone would know better than me. He's the one obsessed.
Turn Back.
Turn Back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make sure to check it out.
I'm going to listen to it.
All
I got
right.
you.
Now I'm hanging up.
Get
Thank
it on
you.
vinyl.
Thank you, Hayden. We appreciate it. Hey, Hayden Grove on the Wise Heart Right, We Make It Right, call Wise Heart Right, We Make It Right, call Kyle Right Highline. There we go.
What a breakdown.
If you're Martha Reeves, you have to go again somewhere because you're not going to. That poor woman is waking up and they're comparing her to the ones that have fallen by the wayside.
The Carl Lewis.
I mean, I feel terrible about Frankie Valli. I mean, they're basically plugging him in.
He must need the money.
I don't think it's him who needs the money. And you said what? Barry Manilow was struggling?
Yep.
I mean, Father Time comes for all of us. If you're Martha Reeves, you got to get back out there. What's she doing Friday? Can we get her to sing the national anthem at the Crushers game?
Oh, it'll be perfect.
Can we offer her a
redo?
What did Tosh Point O used to call?
Oh, that's right, where they would
a viral redo or something like that. Yeah, we got.
I forgot about that bit. That was great.
Let's see if we can get a hold of Martha Reeves. See if she can come on down to the Crushers game on Friday. Thanks to everybody who joined us today. Daryl was excellent. We're back tomorrow 6 to 10. I'm just asking everybody, just try to keep an open mind. That's all. Have a wonderful day. Go Guardians. Make a trade. Or, probably not, but, still support you. Fine.